Welcome into Friday morning as we get set for what could be another interesting day here, wrapping up positive showings for the Nasdaq, maybe the S&P on the weekly time frame. We'll have a look at that coming up. The Dow struggling a little bit, negative on the week to wrap things up. Take out one or maybe two of those, and we could actually be a lot more red for the Dow to end the week. Couple things to note here as far as the economic calendar is concerned this morning. 9:45, we'll hear from Fed's Goolsbee, and then at 10 o'clock, really the only major economic release this morning, Michigan consumer sentiment. There's an inflation portion to that. The past few, though, really have been kind of a non-event as far as the market is concerned, but keep that in mind ahead of maybe CPI next week. We'll see if this government situation gets sorted out before then. If not, we will not be getting CPI next week. That is the Nasdaq again on a weekly chart. We are still holding on to a decent 1.4% gain as far as the week goes. The S&P 500, as I mentioned, I mean, we'll see how today goes, but this is looking a little bit red at this point, down about 0.3 as far as the week is concerned. The Dow more than that, but we still have Friday to go. Adara's back with me this morning at the desk. Lots to consider here this morning. This move continues to just drift higher and higher and higher for the overall market. I mean, we'll see, but I think going into next week, as far as the government shutdown is concerned specifically, the market could be just in a wait and see here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's interesting, too, the feds don't seem, or at least certain feds don't seem as concerned about this lack of data as we might have thought. Fed's Waller talked this morning. He said we still have private data, so I don't see this as being too much of an issue. It's not the first shutdown in the world. So he's actually being quite pragmatic about the situation. That could be interesting. And speaking of Fed's Waller, there is a new list of short lists here for front runners for the new Fed chair position. We're going to have to wait and see how that ends up going. There's 5 of them now, and both of the Kevins, as Trump calls them, are still on this list.
Yeah,
so
yeah, he was top of the list at one point. We'll see how that goes as well. So as far as individual names moving around here, I mean, Nvidia, Qualcomm going to be top of the list, both with maybe China problems to deal with going forward. Definitely for Qualcomm, Nvidia slapped with more, China fees as far as ships coming in and out of China. The Chinese government slapping more import and export fees on top of those. Tesla, speaking of China, Tesla with decent monthly numbers here coming out of China. That Model Y extra long, I guess, doing its job over in China. They like more seats, even though the street's apparently very, very small over there. So a couple things moving around here once again this morning. Joe and Sharif in the captain's chairs once again. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Brendo. It is Friday here, Joey.
Did you see that error in the Phillies game last night?
I did. That was ugly. He threw home instead of throwing to first.
That
was. He panicked though. You could see he panicked, right?
Because it's like almost like too much thinking, right? Like when you instead of just
and the catcher even pointed. The catcher pointed, like, throw to first.
And then he botched.
He's a pitcher, though.
He botched the throw. To home plate, and it was.
He wouldn't have even got the runner at the force because I think the runner would have beat the throw, but it was an errant throw anyway. It was ugly to watch.
Man.
I just don't like LA.
Well, that's who you got. That's who you got to fear at the end of the day, right? Like these guys might repeat. So
imagine tying up with Shohei in the World Series after he snubbed us. Right?
Man.
So that'd be nice.
I don't know if see, that's the thing about Toronto. Everybody's coming here at some point.
Yeah.
That's the Toronto fans for you. But no, Tesla, I mean, we're positive here on the day with Tesla, and then you can see AMD starting to move a little bit higher as well too, guys. So, I mean, we're getting a little bit of recovery, but volume relatively light. Patience, I think is going to be the narrative for today's session. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a steady grind higher today. So
yeah, absolutely. Interesting stuff out of China, guys. So it looks like, they're really putting their foot down when it comes to NVIDIA's chips today. So they're basically searching ships at the point of entry for not just NVIDIA's H20 chip, but also other advanced semiconductors. The Chinese government and the regulator now are of the opinion that domestic chips are as good as, if not better, than the China-specific variant that NVIDIA has been pumping out and trying to sell into that country. So that's going to be interesting to watch. It's a growing market, obviously, for NVIDIA in China, but it's been dwindling because of export restrictions lately. It doesn't really matter, though, because it's up another 0.2%, and it made all-time highs yesterday. So definitely be something that I'll be looking to watch, Joey, see how that market reacts to it. Also, separately, There's more investigations from China into Qualcomm, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Lots of Chinese news today, guys. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Let's take a look at the technicals on said NVIDIA to see kind of where we would work our way in if we were to trade this. So clearly, as I mentioned yesterday, there is a whole lot of resistance into that 195 area. We almost triple topped at around 194 3/4. What I noticed here were the lower highs that we were making. So the shorts or the profit takers were getting a bit more aggressive on every successive ascent into that 194.5, 194 3/4. I'll be looking for that 194 3/4, 195 area as an area of resistance. But it was a good buy area yesterday, Joey, if you picked it up off that 192.5. Look how many times we tested that 192.5. We only really gave it up into the close yesterday, so that would be a nice buying opportunity for me. And that's kind of where we closed out yesterday, about 192.5.
Yeah, absolutely. So my issue here, guys, is we kind of seen it yesterday. We've had some we struggled to hold and break. Well, we broke 195, but we struggled to hold it throughout the session. So that's what I'm kind of leading towards this morning, Sharif. You can see that. Well, you can't see it now, but yesterday we were talking about the concentration of open interest through these strike prices, 195, 192, 195, all the way up to 200. You're going to see it in the hundreds of thousands. So if that stays relatively strong and we're not getting those close, I think there might be some downward pressure because there's a lot of size there, and you're going to need the demand north of those strike prices to break through it. So me personally, I might look for a move into the mid-90s once again, Sharif, 93, 94, and then I'm going to be looking for some potential fade signals on that one. Wait till the market opens, guys, to see that that open interest, if it picks up or starts to cool down.
Yep. All right, just seeing Canadian employment change numbers coming through here on Friday morning. Much, much, much better than expected. The expectation was for 5,000 to the upside. We get 60,000 to the upside, kind of out of nowhere. The overall unemployment rate basically unchanged, 7.2 versus 7.1, but I think that was to be expected. But that's a huge number. Yeah,
we were talking about that off camera. Like that is a pretty massive. Even if you just think of the multiple, like how many more that was than what we were expecting, that's pretty crazy. Like I certainly did not expect that to be the number when you told me the 60,000 versus the estimate. Yeah. I mean, hopefully the University of Michigan consumer sentiment print isn't that out of whack, to be quite honest here for the U.S. But no, all jokes aside, that is quite significant. And yeah, I mean, we're both like, it's kind of hard to know how to interpret this beyond obviously, you know, job growth is better than expected, but also then you wonder why was the estimate that low?
We'll see. As the guys were mentioning there, we do have, I mean, kind of a mixed bag as far as individual names are concerned. One to the downside, just popping up in front of me once again here, Levi. Not great. Levi on the earnings report after the close last night to the downside. Continuation here right now. I was just looking for any kind of comments or anything coming out. I don't see anything in addition to that, but forecast not great here for Levi Strauss.
Yeah, the thing is, the forecast, if anything, was a bit mixed, but it is worth noting too, Brendan, they actually raised their guide for their EPS and their sales for the fiscal year. It just wasn't quite up to snuff, I guess, with estimates, specifically for the EPS, because the sales forecast, as far as I remember, was fine, but they did beat on earnings and revenue, year-over-year growth. I mean, it wasn't certainly the blowout beat of the other earnings name from last night, APLD, which had like an 84% increase in revenue, but still not a bad report on its face with Levi's, even with the guidance.
We are about a week and a half, I was just checking here, about a week and a half away from actual earnings season to get back underway.
We get banks soon, too, next Tuesday.
Yeah, typically banks will lead things off, but to get into the meat of it, about a week and a half away from actual earnings season coming back to market near you, which will be exciting for traders. Once again, Michael Moss going to join us here in a couple of minutes. We'll talk some quantum names with him. Thoughts on Levi's, guys? Are you jean fans on Friday morning?
I like jeans, Brendo. I'm just not sure I like Levi's. But let's talk about exactly what's going on here with this. So they're taking a bit of a different approach than we've seen from some other retailers like Nike and Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, that are really shifting back to more of the wholesale and less direct to consumer. So let's look at this, Assassino, because this is very interesting. So their direct to consumer revenue rose about 11% year over year, and they're moving away from wholesalers. That's the exact opposite strategy that we've been seeing other people employ. They want that three-wall look. They want the customers to be able to go in, see their product displayed, rather than having that direct-to-consumer push, which we've been seeing a lot less of lately. So that really stood out to me. Second thing that stood out to me here is they're really pushing women's apparel. They're trying to focus less on jeans. They're trying to focus on, tops, non-denim apparel, which is accounting for about 40% now of their total sales, with their women's category growing about 9%. That to me is quite interesting. The last thing is, Joey, we know that discounting destroys margins.
Absolutely.
And they've been doing a lot less discounting, hence why Adara was talking about them raising the guide. It doesn't really matter, though, what we feel and what we think, because the price action spoke a little bit differently.
Yeah, absolutely. As for the women's apparel, Sharif, I like that you brought that up, because, I don't know if you've seen the commercials with Beyonce. So they have those, so they have those big deals, right? So that can obviously attract a lot of people. In the case of the Sydney Sweeney jeans, right? So Beyonce. But no, at the end of the day, guys, let's not avoid the technicals. I think this looks fantastic from a daily perspective. I mean, from April, you've already up 100%. That's a big time move. I think with some of these retail spaces, it's difficult, especially if the lower end of the consumer is slightly starting to weaken. So not too bad of a look there in Levi.
All right.
All right, IONQ just popping up in front of me here to the downside. Yeah, this is in the quantum space. IONQ, an offering just coming through here for this one. Doesn't actually say details on this yet. Oh, there it is. 16.5 million share offering, about 43 million. So, I mean, $80 stock, down about $4 here for IONQ. Again, Michael Noss going to join us here to talk about this, but I mean, this isn't one we typically mention.
Yeah, I think of all the quantum stocks, you're right. I feel like the one like QUBT, QBTS, and Rigetti tend to get mentioned a little bit more. But IONQ, I find, as of late, has had maybe the more splashy headlines, which is interesting. So we're going to have to wait and see there with regards to IONQ. I think certainly, though, in terms of the ones that we see that get the most day trade attention, it's likely going to be more Rigetti and the like. But yeah, I mean, I think as they were all pretty strong this morning. I don't remember seeing any specific catalyst on a lot of their other, I guess, IONQ certainly on watch, but interesting stuff.
Yeah, going back to last week, they completed this acquisition of Vector Atomic, a global leader in advanced quantum sensing. Decent move downside here, guys, for IONQ right now.
Brando, I didn't see the offering quite yet coming on my blotter, but interesting look. So the technicals are still good, Brando, and here's why I feel that way. We're still putting in higher highs and higher lows. We haven't broken trend. So I'm looking at the local trend over here, say from September, mid-September onwards, ever since that big breakout that we got above the key technical level of $50. That $50 level had been a bit of a tough resistance level, whether you were looking back at December around Christmas time, we couldn't break through it and hold it, whether you were looking at the late May rally that also rejected 50, or whether you were looking at the consolidation between May and September, which also, you guessed it, topped out at 50. You broke out from that level, and you're basically putting in higher highs and higher lows. We took out that $80 level, and we're still holding generally the 10 exponential moving average, Joseph, on the daily. We did get a bit of a deeper retracement in early October, end of September into the 20, but I still do like the trend. I don't see a breakdown quite yet. How do you see this?
I mean, the whole space has just been absolutely on fire lately. So, I mean, this offering, as Brando mentioned, only a couple dollars to the downside. Again, the earnings aren't really there just yet. They're not making too much money, but from a technical standpoint, you can't really go wrong. Are we going parabolic? I think so. You have this consolidation, and then you have this lengthy breakout. You do get that retracement, but then you just put in a beautiful new all-time high around $83. I'm going to be waiting for this space to cool down a little bit here. So, I mean, Rigetti, you got the QUBTs, QBTS, and all those names that have just been absolutely exploding us for the past couple of months. So I think a cool down in the space is much warranted, guys.
All right, I think Michael Noss is ready.
Friday morning, let's bring him right in. Talk a little bit about the U.S. dollar. We'll get his take on these quantum names as well. I mean, you kind of buried the lead there in your headline, Mr. Noss. Happy Friday. Leading with quantum names hitting new highs. Just from a higher time frame here, which ones do you like the most? Which ones are you looking at? What are your thoughts here on the quantum space?
Well, so part of the reason is that I tied the dollar into that in my little quip in the email is that I think kind of what's happening on both and what's happening with rates is really important because quantum computers are something that don't exist. So I kind of look at those as the same as people who are trying to make drugs, so drug companies. So I would take a look at the companies that are the furthest along. I think you guys were mentioning IONQ there before. That to me seems potentially like the safer or the large cap, I guess, kind of play in that one. But I think that's what people really need to understand is that these things don't yet exist. So just like a drug company that's trying to come out, with FDA approval for a new drug that will be, in the future, something they can sell will be great. I personally think if, you're forcing me to answer here, I think it's going to be like Google or Meta or Microsoft, because the way I look at it is that their line item, Google's line item for working on quantum is like the entire quantum computer space combined. So if it's about who's throwing more money at it, it's kind of like with AI. Everyone was looking for what's this little tiny AI company that's going to, 1,000x because of AI. And really what we saw was the big guys were the ones that made the most money.
And as you alluded to, I think, as they build and they continue to build, they're going to need more money. And the lending part of it comes into play here. So let's talk US dollar. We mentioned actually yesterday, we were talking a little bit about the weakness that we've seen. That's a weekly chart from you. What are you seeing technically speaking here?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the dollar, and then I'm going to talk about the impact of the dollar for gold and some stocks, because I think this is really important and very tied together. So yes, we're looking at a weekly chart for the dollar. We had a huge move yesterday. The lower indicator is the main thing I want to talk about. And I've been talking a lot about this commitment of traders data because it's something that this year in particularly has worked wonders. It's kept me long the market the whole time because people are still short. So if we're making new highs and people are still short, that makes it very interesting to me. And one thing that people in the red line being large speculators, so institutions and mutual funds and all of these big names who are usually wrong, are short this more than they've been since 2021. So if you look all the way back on that chart on the red line at the bottom, 2021 was the last time they were this short, and that made this huge, again, this is a weekly chart, massive move up on the dollar all the way from like 89 cents to $1.15. It was absolutely crazy. And of course, that's when they got the most long. And then we fell apart here. So interesting to see that move that we had yesterday at the same time that more speculators are speculating on a weaker dollar than ever before. And the next chart is really interesting where I have just the same chart with a zoomed in a little bit and a MACD associated with it. This is a volatility MACD, but it's MACD nonetheless. And for those who don't know, MACD is just a simple trend and momentum indicator. It's looking for moving averages to cross for a potential signal of trend reversal. And I've highlighted all the times that we've had a cross on the weekly chart and the net positioning of large speculators has been short. You can see 2 times in the past, both times led to huge moves in the dollar. Now, I know some people are already probably falling asleep because they're like, what do I care about the dollar? I live in the US, I make money in the US. The dollar value doesn't really matter. So first of all, this DXY, what I'm showing, the Dixie, is a fund that has a whole bunch of currencies versus the dollar. So it's got, yen and Canadian and euro and the UK and all of these things together versus the dollar. So it's a really good way of understanding, is the dollar as a whole strong or weak? And the couple reasons I think this is important if we are going to get a little bit of a pushback in the dollar. This next chart, we have the dollar on the bottom, and then this top blue line is gold, and these are lined up so they're working together. And just a couple arrows to highlight that generally you have these huge breakouts in gold and these huge moves in gold when you have dollar weakness, when dollar starts to sell off. When the dollar is strong, you generally have a pullback or a sideways consolidation inside of gold. And you can see this last monster move up in gold has been also with this push down in the dollar. So if we are going to get this dollar recovery, if there is going to be a bit of a short covering rally in the dollar, that could potentially slow down or end this rally in gold. And the next one here is just the US stock market. And it's the same type of correlation I have it zoomed in here, that when the dollar is weak, it's generally good for stocks. And the reason is that you're either holding, especially if you're American, you're either holding the dollar, you're holding US dollars inside of an account, or you have pushing those US dollars into some sort of asset like equities or Bitcoin or gold or whatever it is. So if we are going to get this push up in the dollar, this could be a little bit of a headwind. And I talk about it all the time. I can't come in and just tell you guys, hey, look at this cool stock is going up, because everything's going up. So what I'm spending a lot of my time is looking for things that could potentially stall us. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, it's the end of the bull market and we're crashing down, it's the next 1987 or anything like that. But just we need to start looking at these things. If the dollar is going to reclaim this $100 area and start to push higher, and these shorts have to unwind, and that's going to create a surge in the dollar, that could be headwinds for Bitcoin, gold, and stocks over time. Doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Correlations come and go, but this is just something I really want to keep an eye on, and I'll be focusing really closely on to give me some signal to maybe lighten up in some of the portfolio longs that I have.
I think it's a great point. I just want to go back to this chart real quick, the gold chart versus the overall dollar. It seems like all the headlines over the past couple of weeks have been, targeting this whole de-dollarization. I've heard that term more than I need to, quite frankly, over the past couple of days even. But from that chart, you can clearly see, this goes all the way back to early 2000s. It's almost a seasonality or a phase in the overall market that we've not only seen before, but been through quite a few times here. But if anyone's hearing those terms for the first time, I think it's worth mentioning here, this is not that unusual. We've been through it before.
I have heard the dollar is going to be depegged and it's going to be the currency since I've entered this industry, which is probably around 2008, 2009. I've heard this the whole time. And I think it's just one of those like buzzwords that a lot of people like to talk about. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of cyclicality to this. And if you look at what was happening in these times, if you just kind of put your thinking caps on for what these dates mean, well, 2000 all the way till the end of 2008, well, that was the two bubbles that happened. We had the dot-com bubble, and we had the great financial collapse during 2010 all the way to 2020. It was a pretty stable market, which makes sense. People want to be in dollars. They want to be in stocks. They want to be in things that aren't gold. Then we have a little bit of turmoil coming over the last couple of years with the inflation and, the tariff tantrum and all of this. So people are going into gold. So to me, this seems like totally normal cycles. I think if you really nail the turning point of these cycles, that could be our telling sign of, okay, maybe it's time. Again, doesn't necessarily mean stocks have to crash or anything, but maybe it's time where people are going to start to invest in dollars and they're going to start to raise cash and raise capital. And that should increase the price of the dollar and then maybe depress or at least slow down the price of the move in equity and gold.
As you mentioned, in fear of putting too many people to sleep here, we'll wrap it up at that. But I think it's important from a under the hood perspective of generally what's going on in the overall market. So great stuff as always, Michael Noss. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's I've been hearing a lot more about that as well, the de-dollarization. But let's be just as forward as we can.
Yeah.
I've been watching the inflows into gold.
Yeah.
And typically, as we spoke about yesterday, they're happening during the European session and the Asian session. So
China.
to me, that's yelling. Foreign central banks don't want to hold the U.S. dollar for a multitude of reasons, whether it's Donald Trump doing this, whether it's the overspending by Congress and the insane debt that they have now, Joey. But the fact of the matter is there's an inflow into gold and an excess out of the dollar. Does it continue? I don't know.
Well, Brando brought us
really
the other day.
Too.
You've seen, it's like the Chinese are almost hoarding it. So in the past year, essentially how much they've stockpiled gold has gone absolutely parabolic. I'm pretty sure we have that somewhere.
I'm getting it right now.
So it was between, both of us there. So, these guys are just like, you know what, never mind all of that. We're going gold. And we know what's going on with Bitcoin too. They don't really want that. So we'll take a look at, there it is.
There it is, Joey. This is, okay, sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. China's gold stock levels. This is from 09, Joey, to the current year. You're basically, you're dilly-dallying basically for almost 15 years. And then all of a sudden, this happens, right? And, it just feels like there's a lot more to this than just maybe printing U.S. dollars and devaluing the currency, and more political headwinds by the Chinese not wanting to kind of reinforce the hegemony of the U.S. dollar as being that reserve currency, right? because they're just feeding into the same narrative, which is empowering a rival. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's not just only market related. It's got to be politically related as well. And
most definitely geopolitically related as well, too, for sure. But yeah, guys, all right, let's take a look here at some of these upgrades and downgrades. We're going to go over some of the options activity as well this morning as well, too, guys. On the top of the list, guys, we got form factor going from a neutral to a buy here by B. Riley. We're still up 4.4% on the session, so that's not a bad look there either. And then Harmony Gold, also mining, is also going from a neutral to a hold. So not too bad of a look there from Investec. Clean Spark getting that price target raised to $32 by Needham. And then Oracle, once again on the upgraded side, guys, going with Evercore ISI, price target raised to $350. Now, Brentag, getting that sell, guys. So not too good. Neutral to a sell there by UBS Group. So a tough look, slightly negative on the session. And then Investec also going from a buy to a hold, which is not very, very good. Sorry, Goldfield by Investec. And then Mosaic Scotiabank getting that price target lower to $34. And then Orthopediatrics, BTI Research lowering that price target to $23, and it's down double digits right now at this point, guys, 11.7%. And then now, as for some of the options activity, we know Sharif was trading this yesterday. Tilray, that volume at that $2 strike price was in there, and the open interest still relatively high. I mean, this is a $2 name, but relatively speaking, that's substantial. You're talking about 4, 5, 6 times R-vol on that one. UiPath also strike price, that $17 strike price, that is all going to be today's expiration, guys. So with some of these underlyings, Friday is the only one where you can have those 0 DTEs. Other than that, the Q, SPY, ES, and everything along those lines, you can have those 0 DTE throughout the whole week, 1 days to expiry. So, all right, we got 10,800 contracts specifically at that level, and the open interest still relatively light, but combined, this was going to be the largest concentration of open interest and volume. Now, Alibaba Group as well, too, guys, the volume at that $180 strike price, around 14,500, and the open interest still relatively cool, around 5,600 contracts still currently open.
Joey, but just before we go back to the desk, I want to point out, because, you know, I'm going to be watching these small cap gappers. I want to point out PWM, guys. It's not the biggest mover on the day, but it's got 40% behind its back right now, and it's really looking to clear that 150 level. So we're wetting the beak here into the half dollar. We're long at 34s. I'm looking for continuation above 50. I feel 50 is the real resistance level, despite the fact that the pre-market high is 61. Most of the closing prints and the wicks, save and except for these two candles over here, are rejecting 50. So I'm keeping my eye on PWM, Brendo.
Sharif is taking over here. Nice. Let's talk about IONQ here real quick. Here's the full breakdown of what they announced this morning. $2 billion equity offering, including 16.5 million shares, 5 and change, we'll call it, on the warrant side as $93 each, plus 43.1 million, 7-year warrants, blah, 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 blah. It is starting to bounce here. If you go back 2 days or so, we did have a nice level down at $73 for IONQ. Some of the, I saw a couple of people were mentioning some of the other names in the space. For today specifically, also did move on this. So remember, we kind of hinted at it with Michael Noss there. You know, the move up has been spectacular for some of these, most of them at highs. If you're going to drop an offering, probably a good time to do so on the market when the stock's already at highs. Well,
Quantum Computing, QUBT, they also had an offering last week. So this is not the first one in this space. I think, too, the hard thing with these, it's a double-edged sword, because when they go up, they all go up together, and then you all benefit when there's good news and when there's positive atmosphere in the space. And then when you have an offering, especially now when you have 2 of, I would say, the 4 top quantum tickers, so half of them dropping offerings in about a 2-week period, a little bit tough.
Sharif's trading up a storm over there already. Give us an update.
I'm sorry, Brendo. Once you're a degen, you're a permanent degen.
You're in it forever. You're in it for life.
You're in it for life. All right. PWM is taking out the half dollar, guys. Here we go. We're moving into that 60 penny area. But I'll digress for a second. Let's get into IONQ, because this is quite interesting. Look, I saw the same thing, you know, with Joby the other day. Joseph and I were talking about this, a name that I'm involved in, very nascent technology. We're talking about eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. And because it's super nascent, they've got to raise money, right? For so many different reasons, technology, licensing. And I feel that the quantum space is not exactly correlated, but very similar. Super early, super nascent, very actual, very little, you know, customers with actual revenue. So you feel like, Joey, this is going to be part and parcel of the quantum field for the next little while. But this is the chart right now on IONQ. Allow me just to flip to the hourly so we can get a good look. So I like this. Take a look at this, Joey. It comes into that $73 area, which we know was bought up yesterday and the day prior. It was also $73. That is an area of resistance both on the 3rd of October and in the pre-market on the 6th. So 73, an interesting area. And to me, you know, technical analysis is really never by accident. If things are bouncing off $73, there's typically a reason, especially if you see that area coming into play multiple times, both as support and resistance. So I'd be looking for a 73 hold today. If it gives up 73, that's a different story. We'll be looking, I want to say, give me a second here, likely, you know, maybe into that $70 area, Joey, where we might have psychological resistance or support, excuse me. But we're getting a bit of a downtrend since that high that we put on the 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to pull something up here, but it doesn't look like we have it. But I wanted to compare the two. So yeah, Shreve was talking about IONQ, but this is the quantum ETF here, and I was showing this to Shreve earlier, and thanks for the individual who brought us this. This is the move that this ETF has been on since these April lows. I mean, as for an ETF, 77%, you can't really go wrong there. And it's just a beautiful, steady uptrend here, guys, so not too bad of a look on that one. But as for IONQ, you're getting that offering. Just due to how hot this space has been for the past little while, Shreve, I would not put it past it to make a complete recovery. I mean, we dropped a couple of dollars here, $5 almost to be exact. And I would not be surprised if we punch through some of these pre-market highs. This is absorbing liquidity, and these names just continue trajectory to the northeast. So, I mean, be careful. If the volume is going to be maintained here, right, you can see the strength within some of these candles. So if you do run into some of these support level lows, the pre-market support level lows and post-market, then maybe you'll get a fade. But if the volume starts to step in, and then you also see the strength within the candles being printed, I would not be surprised if we just continue to go on the path that we're currently on, Shreve.
Yeah, this is, Assassino, if we can zoom in on this, this is the actual structure of the raise. So it's going to be about $2 billion in equity. That's about 16,500 shares, priced at $93 a share. Where is this thing trading at? Oh, it's at 74, so that's quite a premium there. And then the pre-funded warrants to purchase about 5 million shares of common stock, again, at $93, representing a premium of about 20% based on today's price, as well as, guys, a 7-year warrant to purchase an additional 43,000 shares of common stock, which will be exercisable at $155 a share, which represents 100% premium based upon the current price. So this is interesting, Joey. You don't typically see these type of premiums unless the market is saying, look,
we're bullish.
Exactly.
We're extremely bullish. But what do we think about like these warrants? Because $43 million, what's the float? 43 million shares. What's the float on that? So I'm just curious.
314 million.
Okay, so I mean, the dilution there, it's nothing substantial, but I mean, you're still adding more liquidity into the market. So what would happen with that? Do you sell a little bit, or do you just continue to move higher like the space has been doing? But those warrants might dilute the float.
You're absolutely accurate, and that's typically one of the concerns about raising. Guys, I want to point out PWM again, taking out 50, taking out 70.
Jeez.
This thing is going. We got a beak wetter up here into the high of the day at 72s. We're looking for a 50 hold now, Joey. Now that we've cleared 50 by about 25 pennies, I need it to act as a support level.
You're done. You're done.
We're done with the day. Okay,
you're
so
done.
Just go home then,
Yeah, I mean, you may as well wrap it up here at this point. But no, great trade. But I think a lot of these small caps do make these moves in the pre-market.
They do. Their best time is the pre-market and the aftermarket, Joey, because there's no halt parameters.
No halt parameters.
And the DJs, their hands start shaking, Joey.
Yeah, well, now you got your fix, so you're good. You're good. There you go.
All right, guys.
All right, let's get going. Lots to know here heading towards the open on a Friday. If you haven't done so yet, grab the watch list. Absolutely free. Comes right to your inbox every single day. Link is below in the description. Top link, in fact, in the description. All you need is your email address. Then you get everything you need to know. One neat package delivered right to you for free. Let's talk China. It's all about China today. First two, anyways. China. Qualcomm and Nvidia getting the targets placed on them, more so on the Qualcomm side. I mean, I think this, you and I were just talking, I mean, I think this is more just, he's trying to get as much leverage as he can ahead of this meeting with Trump coming up later in the month. Maybe Qualcomm needs to suffer in regards to that in the short term. Downside here this morning. I mean, we're climbing right back to the low from yesterday, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the stock doesn't seem to react too much. And honestly, there's not really too much to say on either of these. This Qualcomm story is basically a direct duplicate of the Nvidia Mellanox situation from this, or I guess I thought it was the summer. I guess it was last month. Basically, the State Administration of Market Regulation announced that they're going to be looking into Qualcomm for violating China's anti-monopoly law. Why? Because Qualcomm acquired an Israeli company called Autotalks. That acquisition, after 2 years, was finally closed in June. And again, Israeli company, not any company affiliated with China as far as we can tell. But again, Nvidia also acquiring a company, Mellanox, and that's going to be investigated as well. So same story. Nvidia too, also reportedly, according to the Financial Times, facing, I mean, all of these, I guess, more advanced AI chips are facing more intense import controls from China. But Nvidia especially, apparently that's like the main one they're looking
It's tit for tat, I think, at this point, as far as China is concerned. Again, all leading up to this Trump and Xi Jinping meeting, guys, later in the month.
Yeah, Brendo, apparently they're supposed to meet in South Korea, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see exactly what the dynamics are there. This is no surprise to me, though. It's just basically an escalating ladder of restrictions by the Chinese on American chip technology. It's so funny how this is just flip-flopping back and forth. The Americans want to restrict chip access, and then the Chinese, you know, they don't like hearing that they're being sold second-rate chips, and they're proud people, obviously, so they're like, no, you're not going to sell us this crap. We can make it at home, and so that's what they're pushing with the Huawei Ascend chips. We also saw Baba throw their hat into the ring as well, looking to develop in-house built custom silicon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, Joey, but no surprise to me there. What do you think from your side?
So for me, Sharif, I think the Americans are kind of in a tough place here. It's like, okay, so what do we do? Do we send them the lesser chip and then allow them to advance on their own, use their own style, or do we send them a better chip to the point where it's like, hey, we don't really want them to be that innovative, so they don't continuously progress? But I think that's the case. We know the Huawei chips are better for inference, not training. So what do they do? I think it's almost a double-edged sword. It's like we don't want to give them the best one, but they're going to come out and be like, hey, we don't want them all together. So what do we do? Do we kind of maybe try to upgrade them, or do we even risk giving them the best, the Blackwell, the GBs, and then obviously with AMD's MI350 coming out in 26 as well too. So I think they're in a tough position.
But what do you make of Jensen's argument that let's get them addicted, let's get them using our technology, otherwise they're just going to circumvent us, and then they're going to start selling less expensive chips who may be as good to everybody else.
I think that point is inevitable.
Like they did with EVs.
Like with Jensen, if I'm him, I'm pushing to give him the best chips. You have to at this point.
Well, it makes sense for him because those are big products for him, right?
Exactly. It makes sense for him, and I think it makes sense from a strategic standpoint as well, too. As you just mentioned, it's like, what if they really start to gain some more ground on this on their own, and you don't necessarily want them. You want them to remain heavily reliant on NVDA chips and AMD chips as well, too. So they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
I agree 100%, and it's super complicated. Guys, I want to point out SLE, shout out to Tisha, pointing this one out. Another small cap gapper breaking out here in the pre-market, up 50%, breaking through 5 all the way up, I believe, into 580, 575. We'll keep an eye out on that one. But let's look at the technicals here on NVIDIA, at least intraday. So as we were speaking about earlier, that level at around 194.50 was a hard level to clear. I'm talking about 194.50 to maybe around 194. 194.75. You got only a quick wick through that 195 area yesterday, ever so briefly, right in the implied balance open. That is the all-time high. It is a 195.30, and that's a real print because that's after the opening bell. So I'll be looking first and foremost to take out the pre-market high here in NVIDIA, which is a clear 194, Joey. You already have a double top. You got that super early on 520, and then you got a consolidation area top into 194, basically from 715 to the current level right now. So first and foremost, a 194 clearance as a long, and then you're looking for resistance between 50 to 75. You clear that, obviously you're looking at 95. To the downside, here's what I'd be looking at. Yesterday's low, I'm talking about around 192 to 192 and a quarter. This area was bought up both during regular market hours and in the aftermarket yesterday. So that would be my technical as a support level. Joey, how do you see this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Qualcomm right now, Sharif. Like we're still down 30% from those previous all-time highs. It's quite a while ago that happened. What is it, the 18th of June in 2024. But the thing is, though, is look at this consolidation. I mean, you do have those whipsaw moves to the downside, but if this resistance is breached, I mean, there's a couple zones that you need to get through on this one. Sure. 175, I think, is going to be a really key level. You would want to look for these to hold up, but anything north of 175, I think you can be in for a potential breakout. But one thing to note is you want to keep an eye on the volume as well, too. As always, guys, if you're looking for those breakouts, you need that volume to be correlated. Otherwise, it can just be classified as a false break. So keep an eye out for Qualcomm in the coming days, weeks, and even months to see if it even wants to test that 175 level. It's not too far away from here. So NVDA, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, we tapped into those all-time highs yesterday, 192 roughly, but we have that concentration on the options chain, and we've seen this countless times before. So right now, I think that until we see those contracts roll over to a further dated, I think we're going to be stuck in between 195, the market being frothy, a lot of things just continuously climbing higher. I mean, we're up over 100% from those April lows on this name here, 123 to roughly be exact there. So, I mean, just watch out. You might get those pullbacks. We're breaking out, but how long can this be continued without a 5 to 10% pullback? I don't know. The concentration through those strikes is a little alarming to me.
Let's go on to Tesla with better than expected China delivery numbers. And this goes back to the Model Y Extendo version, or Model Y L as it is known. I think going into this, they did the research and they came up with an idea that was going to work for specifically China. And hey-ho, we have ended a 2-month slump, which is the most important part here as far as China deliveries are concerned. But I think this also points toward what we learned earlier this week with the lower priced Model Y and the lower priced Model 3. He's finally maybe listening to the market a little bit and saying, hey, we need to adapt here.
Yeah, and I think adapting like their current existing models makes sense to start. I know he really wants to launch that Roadster. We're going to put the cheaper Model 2, but clearly this Model YL was super successful. So now I wonder if there's any other models they can adapt maybe in China to get these deliveries up, because we know there are a lot of concerns that the massive delivery boom for Q3 was driven in large part by the ending of the EV tax credit. So I think continuing to put out these new vehicles is probably a good look and maybe a way to offset those concerns. I do have this fun little visual from China, or CN EV Post. It's just a website that focuses specifically on China's EV deliveries. So you can see here, this green line is 2025. I mean, the slump, sure, the most recent one was just 2 months, but we were really slumping for most of the year as well. So this push up here hopefully is a good sign for the rest of the year.
Yeah, 10% uptick month over month in September, guys. Not bad here for China deliveries.
Yeah, go ahead, Joey.
Yeah. I mean, by all means, I think we were expecting the Model 2 at the end of the day. Did we get it? No, but we got the lesser version. We got a cheaper version of vehicle, and I think that's what the street was looking for. I mean, those delivery numbers were pretty good. Obviously, the EV tax credit ending here in obviously North America, United States to be exact. But once you broke out through those technical levels, this name essentially hasn't really looked back. You do get this pop-up here to 496. You've breached it, but you're still holding some key support levels here around 416. And I'm going to look for that to continue to hold. I mean, we're only 10% off of those previous all-time highs. And with Tesla, it takes nothing for this thing to get going. Anything positive, who knows who he strikes a deal with next. And next thing you know, this is a $500 name. And it's only a matter, it's not if, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah, Joey, I have to agree. Yeah. I want to take more of a fundamental look at this. So let's look at the morning note over here. So let's get into the details of these China numbers. They sold 90,812 China-made EVs just in September. That's a 2.8% bump year over year. It ends, most importantly, though, a 2-month slump in China deliveries. And it was really buoyed here by the launch of the Model YL variant, which is a 6-seater, 3-row, longer range. And we know that that one had crazy demand. We were talking about end of November for deliveries, and that was, I think, a few weeks ago. So it could be even later now. Now, what I really like, though, Joey, is that the production out of Shanghai also rose almost 10%, 9.2% month over month, and that's specifically, of course, for the Model 3 and the Model Y. And then now, very importantly for Elon, we know this is one of his stated goals. He wants to get into India. So Tesla also began exporting China-made EVs to India, which are going to be obviously taxed at a higher rate, making them more expensive. That is until, of course, Elon starts producing in India as per the agreement with Prime Minister Modi. Joey, he also delivered about 241,000, let's say 242,000 China-made EVs in Q3, which is the 4th highest quarterly total. He didn't sell that many in China, Joey, because he produces them in China and he exports them to Europe sometimes. So that's a good look there. I think maybe we're on the other side of things when it comes to the delivery
okay,
numbers.
all right.
You know what
so
I mean?
You think the worst is is over?
Feels like it.
Okay, all right. My issue here, well, I don't necessarily have an issue, but my thoughts with shipping some of these EVs to India, Sharif, is what's the infrastructure over there like? Right? Do they have the amount of charging stations that you need?
That's a great question.
How much can he expand? Right? We know that Apple started to build some stores in India as well too. So I mean, some of these hyperscalers are starting to move into the space. But
that's a great
as for the infrastructure, is the country willing to kind of adapt and build it out? And will it really impact Tesla's numbers in the long run? I don't know. I think that's a market that will take substantial amount of time to really start to grow.
And you even saw him. He did it himself, Joey. He had to build out the Tesla EV supercharging stations because the government wasn't getting it done, and he knew. No, I'm just saying. I'm using America even here. Nobody was building out. Now we're picking up, and you got some private companies, ChargePoint, Blink charging, whatever, right? But they're not en masse, just like his supercharging station is. So I feel he already saw the requirement that if you're going to build out EVs, you have to build out the concurrent infrastructure. He didn't rely on anybody else to do it. He did it himself. I don't see why he does it any differently in India.
You would have to take the same approach, I think, right?
Unless, there was going to be somebody else to fill the void. I personally don't know of any. So that's kind of how I look at that. But I think that's a really good point. The accompanying infrastructure as important.
For sure.
Jeans on the docket here this morning in the form of Levi Strauss to the downside. Right out of the gate after the close yesterday, this thing got absolutely clobbered down to $22. We're sitting there right this second, not looking too healthy this morning either. Hasn't been much additional information this morning as far as this earnings report goes. The way it kind of took off and selling pressure came back in early on, seemed like they were talking about it again. There were a few, 2 or 3, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan to mention a few. Negative notes from analysts on this, some price target activity to the downside.
I saw one price target increase to all the way from $23 to $33, but I forget what analyst that was. Generally, though, the reactions have not been great for this report. So earnings per share, 34 cents versus 31 cents expected. Revenue, $1.54 billion versus $1.5 billion expected. And their gross margin, I want to talk about this too, because this actually was better than what we were looking for. 61.7% versus 60.6%. last year, and also better than 60.7%, which was the estimate. Now, also here with Levi, we'll talk a little bit about the forward guidance, because I think that was something that was a bit concerning here for the company. They did raise their revenue and EPS guide, but the EPS guide a little bit more in line with estimates. Revenue was a slight beat.
Yeah, there was a little bit of cautious talk as well. I mean, we've heard that throughout this entire prior earnings season from a lot of companies, especially in the retail end of things, with the overall global economic conditions a bit of a concern. Remember, coming up in just about a week, we get right back into the heart of earnings season once again, guys. Thoughts on Levi's here?
the other retail names, it looks pretty good.
I'm okay. I don't disrespect that, but to me, this is like a perpetual range that this, okay, so this is the weekly on LEVI, okay? This, for whatever reason, I don't know if they IPO'd in 2019, but this is as far as my data goes. Joey, clearly $13 is a number of interest there. It held up during COVID. It held up during 2022 when everything dropped, and it held up during the tariff tantrum in April. $13 is a hell of a support level. But look at this, Joey. Look at this $24, $25 area. The IPO price rejects there. We reject there again in June of last year, and then look where we're finding resistance again, right? There is this outlying area here, but that's the huge move up that we had in COVID, and you know, some stocks may never recover to those levels. I don't really put Levi's in that category because you got pretty close, Joey, coming up to 25. You know, that's not that far away from 30. But this one seems to be destined to kind of reject off 25 for the most part and bounce off 13. How do you see this?
I mean, I'm looking at some of these other retail names here. You know, things like AEO and everything along those lines. But then when we go over to Levi, we'll take a look at another name here, Gap. I mean, and then we go over to Levi. These retail names, it's a tough space without any questioning, right? Because one day you're hot, the next day you're not. There's always something new coming out. But if you ask me, this is one of the better looking, I guess, charts. If you want to go that far, see if the weekly can set us up. I mean, you talk about this price over here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
We based out around here, so I think that's out of the question. I don't know if we're going to ever go back there, but it looks like we're going to punch through some of those levels that we've been back in 2019.
Yes,
so, I mean, it's not horrible, and if you ask me, it looks a lot better than some of the other retail names. But also, it's the Beyonce deal. And you know, with American Eagle, you have the Sydney Sweeney and the Travis Kelce. I understand that, but how long is that going to last, right? You may see an initial bump in sales and everything along those lines, but someone's going to move on to the next thing. It's same with the athleisure wear stuff, right? Like one day Aloe's hot, then you got the Lululemons, then you got the Gymsharks and everything. It's almost like a revolving door on what's hot and what's not. And for me, that's why I think it's a little bit tougher of a look in the retail names.
Sorry, I just got caught with a interesting graphic here. I'll show you. This is NVIDIA sales projections through to 2027 versus AMD on the data center side specifically. 303.7 billion data center specifically versus a measly 28 billion for AMD. That's absolutely nuts and just continuing to accelerate. So. Wow. Applied Digital APLD earnings name as well to the upside. One bad, one good so far this morning. A couple of analyst notes in the other direction here I was just reading as well for APLD. Not much bad, in fact, to mention here.
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the 84% year-over-year increase in revenue, because that is what they reported. So it was 64.2 million. Obviously, as you can tell, given that 84% year-over-year increase, it healthily beat estimates. They also did end up securing about $362.5 million in total financing. And again, guys, they did have that deal with CoreWeave. That CoreWeave deal boosted the stock for sure. It boosted, I think, recognition of Applied Digital, and it's certainly boosting its revenue and I think outlook going forward. So good look there. They did still post a loss per share, but it was smaller than the expected loss. So, I mean, that would make it a double beat.
Coming back in a little bit right now, but still up huge here, guys, for APLD.
Sharif, I was looking at the.
You've been talking about this for a while.
I've been talking about this name for a long time.
I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit.
I've been talking about this name for a long time. Was I expecting this? No, but like expect the unexpected, especially in the stock market. April 15th, you climb up there. Oh, I don't even want to look at this number. Sharif, don't look.
What happened?
From the April lows, from a percentage metric, how much are we up?
We're
I think you've seen it. Oh,
you're 800.
You little cheater. Yeah,
we're up 890%.
Yeah. I mean,
what the hell is this,
man,
dude?
It's insane. Like $3.40 all the way up to 30 bucks or 36 bucks. I mean, it's on my watch list. $39 we're touching there in the pre-market. Look out for that options activity. Obi was talking to me about it this morning as well too. Are we going to have that gap and go scenario? Possibly, or are we going to come back in? This name has been on an absolute monster run, just like the quantum space has been.
It has, dude, and this is a great breakout. But I want to talk about the deal that they have with CoreWeave because it's quite ambitious. But let's just get a little bit more into it over here. So they signed a great deal with CoreWeave. It's for about 195 megawatts, right? It's for the Polaris Forge 1 facility out in North Dakota, fully leased, by the way, so NVIDIA doesn't have to pick up the slack. If you guys know the deal with CoreWeave and NVIDIA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's what gets my attention. The company is expected to generate about $11 billion in contracted revenue from CoreWeave over the next 15 years. Do you even know we're going to be here in 15 years? I don't like looking that far out, man.
That's too far out.
I don't like that. We were criticizing Oracle for capturing 4 years or 4 years down the road of potential revenue. Now we're talking about 15 here.
Yeah.
So I kind of...
That's a lengthy contract.
That's a lengthy contract, Joey. I mean, we don't even know if the AI will have the same look and feel at that time. Anyway, I'm not trying to speculate as to where the industry may go. I just don't like the nature of looking that far down. But as Adira was mentioning, they did raise money, $362 million in total financing. It includes from several sources, but they're going to do well with that money. In fact, they're planning on adding about 200 megawatts of new capacity, which is obviously increasing the runway for growth. So I do like that. Let's have a look at the technicals over here. We're at all-time highs. We printed all-time highs today with a high there of 38.75. Joey, would you be looking for a $30 test? Not today, but on some day.
On APLD?
APLD to come back in, test that $30 breakout level that we clearly rejected during the COVID days.
Yeah, I mean, it could be in the works, right? Like $30 on APLD, right? I mean, I don't think you're going to get it today. No. But it could be in the works, right? You could still see a move back into 33. Then you're not too far off. You're only 10% off of that level at that point. By all means, that's a tough look. With these names just continuing to climb, I have to go with what they're currently doing until the price action tells me otherwise. So 30 in the works, I don't know. I think we might be in a gap and go scenario. Okay. It's just been a steady grind. If it does,
higher highs, higher lows,
if the market decides that it wants to tank and have that 20% retracement at some point because we're too toppy, it's a bubble, whatever it may be, I think you see $30 in APLD, and I think you go back into the 170s of NVDA and things along those lines. Right. But until then, what do we have to do? We have to go with the flow, and I think that's to the top side.
All right.
Imbalances, guys. I know you guys were asking about those. Let's take a look at that. Let's get our size up. I got the New York here if you need them. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so I mean, we got nothing crazy here. We got YYA AI right there with a $2.5 million buy. VG on the New York, 683,000. So nothing substantial right now. NVDA with a 289 buy. And then we have ANVS with a sell at 148K. Pair volumes are there as well, too. All
right, guys, on the New York side of things, we got NEO with about 432,000. Pfizer's up there with a buy. QBTS with a buy as well, about 200,000. BABA with a sell for about 184. Looking down, Lithium Americas got a buy for about 170. Figma with a buy for 155. And then UiPath with a buy for about 120,000. Guys.
All right, RKLB will wrap things up with that and get you set for Friday morning. We were just noting 9 weeks in a row, guys, for the S&P 500. 9 weeks in a row for the Dow to the upside. Nasdaq, 7 of 9, I believe, to the upside. But just absolute crazy rally that is continuing here. S&P is green on the week. Nasdaq green on the week. Dow down a little bit, about 0.5%. We'll see how things shape up here. This is absolutely crazy. I went out to weekly chart here for Rocket Lab. 376% to the upside since the April low. This thing was $15 in April. It's 70 today. A couple of new deals announced today for Rocket Lab, one with Japan.
Yeah, I feel like this stock is one where we're always kind of announcing new deals. The Japan one, though, basically they're signing this contract with the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA. AXA for 2 dedicated Electron launches. So apparently these are going to be deploying satellites for JAXA's innovative satellite technology demonstration program, and they're going to be from Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 1s. They're going to be launched out of New Zealand. There's also this other deal securing a multi-launch contract with IQPS for 3 dedicated Electron missions. So Rocket Lab very busy with some deal making, guys.
Quietly here, just continuing to grind higher, guys. Looks great pre-market.
Kind of chart that just makes me angry when I look at it. Like, just come on.
Just minting millionaires essentially at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a 10 bagger and then some, Joey. And we're not even talking. We're talking about a year and change from those July lows. But here's the headline, guys. As Brendo mentioned, they've gotten a contract with JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, for 2 Electron rocket launches. They're gonna launch at a Complex 1 in New Zealand. 2 Electron missions will deploy satellites for Japan's space agency. It's called the Satellite Technology Demonstration Program, Joey.
Yeah.
All right, about a minute left before the bell. So here's what I'm looking at, guys. Let me bring in the side charts. These are the small cap gappers we've got on. SLE's losing the bid. It might be PWM. I'm really unsure. GWH as well will be in focus for me. We're going to keep an eye on any new ones making a move here on the scanner, but they're all kind of giving up the ghost at the moment. And I don't really know how I feel about this, Joey. So we're gonna stay put for the moment. We'll see how the open treats us, and we'll execute if appropriate. I'm really feeling GWH at the moment because it's the only one really above VWAP. What are you thinking right now?
I'm doing 10 something. 10 seconds. I'm pulling a Katina man here.
Oh,
we got the sticky note Joe here. I'm obviously just messing around. We are now open. Here we go. There's the sticky note, guys. We have a potential 195 fade. Where are we going here? A 195 fade. This is lackluster compared to Katina man's. We can't live up to those dreams, but potentially a move to the downside. We're seeing, this is what I'm talking about here, Streep. An NVDA, let's pull it up now because of the market is open. I think this is going to be really important, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling on some actual trading. So here it is. Katina, man, hopefully I lived up to your expectations there, my friend. 195, this is what we were talking about, 137,000 contracts that has substantially grown from yesterday. So keep an eye out on that one. 200 with 120,000 as well too. But we've seen a little bit more at the 197.5s and the 192.5s. Those have started to close. So really curious to see what it is. But for me, it's fade on IBIT, fade on NVDA potentially. All right, I see a new one, QNRX. It's really rocketing up here, QNRX. Let me just flip to the 5 on this one. Good move up. There goes. Is this halted? It is now halted, Joey. $14.28. It rocketed up from basically the low of the day, which was probably the first print, 11.17. It's halted at 14.28. It's up 75%. It's only done about 1 million shares of volume, but we only opened up. So this one is already on my watch list here, as the others, GWH and PWM, both break down. Not to say anything about SLE, which is breaking down even more. So I'm going to be waiting here for this good one here, QNRX. Let's load that up on a trading screen, though, so we can get a gander of what the theoretical auction price looks like. And is this a Nasdaq stock? It better be. Otherwise, I won't trade it because we won't be able to see what the halts are. Okay, so we halted at 14.28. It's showing me a top of 14. It was at 14.30, so it's zigging and zagging right now. This one only stayed open for about 54 seconds after the bell rang, so 90.34, 9:30.54 was the halt time, so the earliest it'll be open is 9:35.54. We will keep tabs on that and report back to you. But I'm really keeping an eye right now on GWH. It's really trying to hold VWAP, but it's got a series of lower lows and lower highs. The only saving grace here could be the volume weighted average price right around the $0.50. I want to give an exact level right about 59. Look at PWM lose the bid. This is the one we were yelling about in the pre-market. It is losing all sorts of strength, down below the 10, down below VWAP, and this one is of no interest to me at the moment, so we won't be touching that. Guys, if there are any new small cap gappers making a move, I really like to hear from you, because it's kind of hard to keep your eye on all these Especially out of the open there.
Absolutely,
sure.
dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, guys, Sean and Neil, they'll be back. Neil taking a little bit of time off there, and Sean getting his eye surgery done. I think he got it yesterday or something along those lines. So he can't just look at his screens. Those guys are going to be good, and they'll be back in their seats only in a matter of time
100%.
there. So this is what I was talking about, guys. Like that fade on NVDA, we're starting to head south. We couldn't even break that pre-market high of 194. So a lot of supply on where we're talking about. APLD looking like it might continue. We're going to wait for this 5-minute candle to close here, and then it might be a potential long. But also keep in mind the volatility is most definitely up. So this 5-minute candle is almost $2 right there. So just keep an eye out on that one. Going to wait for Bitcoin to come back up into 69.40. As long as we hold that high, then I'm going to look for a potential fade back south to the pre-market lows. But right now, we got to get onto these lower time frames and see what APLD is up to, because it's starting to crack higher, and we want to participate on this one, especially if it's going to continue to the top side there, Sharif.
All right, ONMD breaking out over here about 16%. Look, it doesn't have too much in the way of volume, about less than about 1 million shares, about 750,000 shares. We're going to get in there at 10s. We're going to give it to 3s, okay? So that's going to be the move here. We're going to have to risk 10 pennies. We'll see what we can get on this one. It's a little spreadier. Right now, it's not bad. It's about a penny spread, but I've seen it as wide as 3. Let's keep an eye out on this one. ONMD is the one I'm talking about, 315 high. Looking at front running that with a 314 beak wetter. Let's go ahead and throw in our stop as well in case you know what hits the fan. And we'll throw in our risk parameters there. Seller at 10. Can't shake the seller at 10, at least for now. So packing my patience. But criminal is breaking out, and we had a day yesterday on CRML, and it is back to the tune of 17.5%. It is taking out highs. $17.50 is generally the high. 17.43. Show me 38s right now. CRML looking at taking the pre-market high. In fact, it already did. But look at this one dropping all the way back down into 17. Is this a buy zone off that 17 area? There's a big move up into the $0.25. I'm picking it up here. It's not letting me in. It zoomed away from me, but look at this one on ONMD, taking out my levels. That's what the beak here as well. And now we're going to wait north of that $20, 20 area, excuse me, keeping an eye there on that one. We still didn't get the fill on criminal, and it's going to take out the highs. Dang it. I tried to get the fill, guys. It didn't give it to me. Seller at 40. He's taking out 43. Here we go. We're taking out the high of the day right now on CRML. Not letting me in still, Joey. I'm still waiting for a $17 retracement and a move back up. What do you got?
All right, man. Tesla is absolutely buzzing. I'm looking here at APLD. So it's moving higher here. TSLA continuing its path here. Its war path up to
QNRX is open.
Go ahead. Go check it out there.
QNRX is open, guys. 1645 high. Check that. Yeah, 1645 high. Zigging and zagging. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. It's totally right. If it's breaking out, it's open. All right, we're in some APLD here. We're only going to give this to 37s. Let's see if we can get this 3-bar play to work out for us. And we punch through that 38.50 level, starting to come back in a little bit here. 66 cents of risk. And then we're going to be able to get a better price on this trade. There we go. We got that I-bit hold of that 69.40 and starting to come back in. Let's see if this works out. This could be a quick one and done on this APLD. If it wants to come into 37 within a minute, we will get stopped out, but that's all right. We got 15 cents. Boom, there it is. We're gonna hop out of that one. No continuation. We'll get a better price on this one just in case it wants to continue its path to the downside. As for the Qs and the SPY, it's rocking and rolling right now, putting in a new high. Is NVDA looking to participate? Maybe, potentially. We got a lot of indecision off of those lows. I like this down at these levels. Let's figure out our risk parameters here. 99.32. All right, so if we can hold 99s, it's not looking like it as we're coming back in here. Sorry, I'm talking NVDL, not NVDA. This is going to be the 2x leverage. Here it is on APLD. Entry number 2 coming, just in case that we're having that 3-bar play. We're going to have the exact same thesis on this one. All right, it's not showing me what I want to just yet, but we can get in at those lows. If it comes back towards the volume-weighted average price, there might be an additional entry there. Selling pressure starting to hop in. I'm liking NVDA substantially more than what APLD's got going on right now. Let's see if we can get involved with this. 99.20s on NVDL. it's not holding the zones that I would like it to, but we had that fade on IBIT, so not too horrible of a look. We're holding up, Let's get it up on the screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. NVDL, there we go, we got it, congratulations. And here it is, bang, there's the signal. We're involved, 99.40s. 99 is going to be our out. Let's see if we can go back-to-back jacks. Yesterday, we rocked on NVDL. Let's see if we're going to get that same outcome today. We got 40 cents worth of risk on the table right now, folks.
Hey, I like that, Joey. All right, keeping an eye on criminal. We got in at the highs, and we took out into the highs. We didn't get in at the highs. We got in at 40. I tried to get back in at 17. It didn't hold up on my level, but here it is again. So we're going to give this one a try at 11. So let's post here in the high teens and the low 20s. There's the first fill, waiting at 25, show me 24s, looking for continuation. There's the second fill now. Let's go ahead and wait at the third of a dollar. We're going to keep an eye out on that one. CRML looking real good over here, but look at this one go. Joseph Wilson, boom, into the high over here on my good friend ONMD, taking out levels. We're in at 10, and we just took it out there at 40s. Good trade on this one into the high, so we're going to pick our patient. Sorry.
I was saying, damn. Yeah. I mean, I hate, like, man, you got to take like 20,000 shares of that bad boy. That'd be a beautiful.
Oh man, well that's what your boy RC does, right? That's kind of his modus operandi there. So
sure. There goes Bitcoin. Like it's gone up to. We're about to tap into 60 on IBIT. It's looking pretty good. It blew past that signal. I don't mind that type of recovery in the space. I did sell a couple contracts, but I still have the majority of them on, just to relieve a little bit of stress. You know what I mean? Just like when you're sized in like that, and you're like, hey, you know what? I would rather take some off just in case it's not the breakout that we're looking for. It's holding some of those consolidations pretty well. The market is ripping. NVDL is not participating just yet. Let's see if we can get that move back in towards the volume-weighted average price. But, Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, keep an eye here on Circle. CRCL, again, they're a stablecoin issuer. I'm seeing a report here suggesting that a group of leading international banks is exploring issuing a stablecoin. CRCL on the move, guys. This is the 15-minute chart. Nice pop off the open. Back to you.
Perfect. All right, guys, we're back into some APLD. VWAP was the primary entry that would have gave us 40 more cents as NVDA is starting to sell really aggressively. It cracks that 99s. We're out of that one, and then we'll go 0 for 2, but that's all right. Momentum straight out of the gates in the morning. Tesla coming back in as well, too. But I like the 5-minute 3-bar potential play here on APLD. Come on, NVDA. Give us some volume-weighted average price here. We need that type of price action, my friend. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. Nothing on a 5-minute that tells me, hey, we're ready to rock and roll. It might just be a breath to the downside, but we're going to continue to hold our horses on this one. There goes APLD, entry number 2. Let's stalk and roll right here, guys. As we're heading towards that high. Bang! There. Oh, what a pop-up there in APLD, Sharif. Man, we're going to take 10% off right there. Nice little move. We'll take it all day.
Taking it all day.
The all day, as the Portuguese would like to say. But yeah, not too bad. Let's see if we can crack that 38 level. We'll take another 20% off once we get to that specific zone there, Sharif.
All right, Joey, I'm back into ONMD because we did exhaust the shares. I added here at the $0.25. We're about break even on the remaining amount, looking for a continuation up, looking through that 30. There it goes again on ONMD, showing 35s now. I'm waiting at 40s. Let's see if we can get continuation. We don't necessarily have higher highs at the moment, but looking for a move back above 35. There's a notable seller here at 35. There's 37. There's 38. Can we get a little bit more? 39. We'll take it out there. Cancel the other order. Now sell up above 50. Now we're waiting at 52. Showing me 42s. ONMD is on that good stuff. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Second trade into it, both profitable. Looking for the move above the $0.50. It is a 49-penny high. So obviously we are looking for resistance at said $0.50. Joey, I'm going to continue to ride this trend here on ONMD.
Sweet, brother. We're breaking.
Go ahead, Joe.
We're breaking out here on APLD, man. Again, we just want to stick to the guns. Bang, we'll take it off. We take the first L on that one, Sharif. That doesn't even matter at this point because the risk to reward is huge. I told you, let's get out, let's get back in and play the Momo in this thing. It needed that. So we'll take another little, let's go. APLD. No.
What happened,
No,
Joey?
I didn't.
What happened? Oh, no, tell me it's not this.
Oh my
Is it this?
God, I took it all
it's not this.
out. No.
You're lying to me. No, Assassino, come on, bro.
Days, that's not even... No. What a mistake.
You shouldn't have done that to me. Now I'm going to do that to you every time, bro.
Sharif, APLD, we're all out of that one. We messed that up. I did not mean to do that 100%. But NVDL, tapping into the VWAP, that's exactly what we were looking for. We messed one up. We got the other one socking and rolling, baby. Oh, how do I not catch a fill on that, baby? Let's go. So we'll go 2 for 3 here, bright and early in the morning. There goes NVDL to the top side, running into the volume-weighted average price. What did I do on APLD? Dude, I took it all off by accident, so a complete fat finger on that one. It's still continuing. 38.75 on APLD. Let's take a little bit more off here on NVDL as it's starting to pump a little bit higher.
Get it, Joe.
Stick with the guns. Hopefully I didn't do it again. All right, we did not. We still got our size. 70% of the position still remaining. We're waiting for that $100 level and these pre-market lows. Let's go. I have to hit this for our boys. I don't have anything of Neil. Shout out to the OGs over at Tradertv.live. Obviously, big shoes to fill, but I think we're doing a fantastic job so far.
Absolutely, Joey, absolutely. And I just have a question.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit of chocolate right now. What's your favorite chocolate bar?
Score.
Score? It's not Butterfinger?
Oh my God. Oh,
come on, Joey.
God, that is crazy.
Joey. Come on, bro. You did it to me, Joe.
You just opened up a can of worms. There goes NVDL. Listen, Katina man. Katina, are you listening? Katina man. Assassino, hit another one. Hit another one for me, my friend. Hit another one. My God, I'm still waiting for it, Assassino. I can't believe you went down that avenue, Sharif.
Sorry, bro. You know I love you, bro. But you're my boy. You set up so perfectly, Joey.
I thought it was a genuine question. Was I expecting the Butterfinger? Absolutely not.
Oh, man, I play it, bro. I play it. I've done that 10,000 times. You've done it once, so you're good to go there, brother.
It's all fun and games.
All right, guys, look, we're still holding ONMD here from the quarter dollar. It's zigging and zagging. It feels like it is accumulating for that $0.5 break. So I'm going to maintain my position above the $0.5 for the next profit taker, and we'll hopefully wet the beak there. But Joey, I need to mention STAI. Shout out to whoever told me about this one in the chat. Look at this thing go. Now, the issue with it is, of course, if you've been watching for a while, you know I'm quite displeased all the time about these sub $1 stocks, but there goes ONMD. We take out the $0.5, baby. We're spending the money on this one, man. There it goes. No, but let's get back to focusing here on STAI. This is a great stair step up. It started moving at around 920. How many shares does this have? 51.5 million shares. It is south of $1 with a 91 penny high. So we are closing in on that dollar area where it becomes a different trade, right? There's a lot of algorithms that will not participate in these sub $1 stocks. So we'll have to see if we can get that big move up. I'm certainly keeping my eye right now on STAI, but I have to put it in on the side watch list over here. Otherwise, the price action doesn't update. There we go. Now we're live on STAI, dropping down to 80 pennies. Volume weighted average price at around 76. Does it hold up here? Does it hold up here? Because sometimes when the volume weighted average price is ahead of the 10 EMA because of the parabolic nature of the price, it doesn't hold up at VWAP, but rather retraces into that green line, which is the 10 exponential moving average, currently showing me 66. But as you see it right now, live in living color, it is finding support at that 76 penny area. Hence, it is respecting VWAP. So that is going to be a focus to me, Joe. We're going to look to execute on that. In addition, we're going to look to get in more on ONMD if it's warranted.
All right, guys. Yeah, so I mean, we're rocking and rolling, man, bringing the absolute heat this morning. There it goes. This is what I was talking about earlier in the session, guys, is that IONQ move with that offering. Look at this. This is exactly what I was referring to. To the penny, you run into those pre and post market low structure lows, and then you fade immediately right away off of those. So keep your eye out on that. You might break through the low of the day. Yesterday's session was an absolute chop fest. So somebody knew something was going on there. Not good for the retail boys getting involved in this unless you're some guru at range trading, which I'm personally not. Now, as for the person in the chat, he's like, we never cover BBAI. My friend,
my
All
friend.
you got to do is ask, and we can cover BBAI. So there's no issue with that. Yeah, I mean, it is going. If we want to call this,
if it's going.
It's going, brother.
Yeah, okay.
It's looking pretty good right now. VWAP up here, BBAI. We know this is a continuing man favorite. Bang, bang.
Oh, he loves that.
Holds trend line, bang, and now you're punching through. There is some resistance up here at that $8 level. You can see that we're currently rejecting it. But other than that, guys, a nice open up above this range and a climb higher towards some key resistance zones. So I should not have made fun of you being Butterfinger right as I did that punch short instead of long at APD. That's what happened. Yeah, I would rather it happen to me than to you, hangry wife, but it happens. If you laugh, then you know what? See, the thing is, though, we'll do the ad and then we'll get back.
Yeah, okay. All right, Joey. And now for some exciting news out of Canada for sophisticated traders on the stream. It's Beta Pro by Global X Canada. It's Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse, and inverse leveraged ETFs, and they've just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs. They're offering you guys 3 times bull as well as 3 times bear exposure to the TSX 60, the semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries as well. And if you want even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points, all until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering you the potential for pure performance and exposure. So, having said all that, if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, Joey, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Shout out to them. All right, Joey, I got to cover all these because they're all going right now. So here we go. The Big Bear one, it just rocketed up, baby. Let's see what Big Bear is up to. There goes Big Bear, Joey, into the high of the day. Here comes the 8.25. When you pointed this one out to me, it was at 790. Now it's at 822.
Are you in it?
What the hell? I'm not in it, man. I was reading the ad.
Damn.
It's got a great hold. 3 different candles, all closed above the volume weighted average price despite wicking below it. You have to give this one a little room. We're going to be looking at executing on Big Bear. But I also want to point out QNRX, that crazy halter that's moving crazy. It's back up and clearing 14, looking at possibly clearing 15 here momentarily. There it is, right at 15 as we speak, Joey. It took all of a quarter second to move from 14 to 15. If that doesn't tell you to be careful with these names, I don't know what else does. Obviously, showing you potential for huge profits, but by the same token, it can take as quickly as it gives. And here we go. Now we're initiating the halt parameter at 1536, up 88.25%. QNRX is in focus for me, no doubt. And then lastly here, ONMD topping tail candle, as ugly as they get. I'm a buyer here again, likely at VWAP. If VWAP doesn't hold, we're looking at the 10 EMA because it's still one of those anomalous situations where VWAP is ahead of the 10 exponential that it typically does not happen. All the other ones are breaking down. STAI at VWAP, we're going to be looking at that one as well, Joey.
All right, beautiful stuff. The market's starting to come back in a little bit here, guys. We'll go 2 for 3 here on the session. We took that one small loss in APLD. We're still rocking and rolling, posted up at $100.15 on NVDL. We'll go to APLD. 1 second there, Adara. APLD, we missed out up on that move. Just an error right there at 38.38. Up there, I guess it was meant to be. But Adara, what do you got for us?
I have guys as pharma names. I have Pfizer up here. You could look at mRNA. Eli Lilly would probably be a good one to look at here. CBS reporter here saying on X that Trump's speech at 5 p.m. or his announcement at the Oval Office scheduled for 5 p.m. is likely going to involve talking about lower pharmaceutical prices and a new most favored nations deal. GDRX is another one to watch here as well. GDRX, they have been moving here with regards to Trump RX-related announcements and reports because GDRX is in a competing space. So keep an eye on GDRX and any pharma plays. Back to you.
Big time, bro.
All right.
We just
wish you well. You got the entire weekend to sweat that whole thing up, so you're good to go there.
I got some hockey tonight, so I'll put like the Under Armour on. I'll put like the full suit on and just go straight to the wall and go as hard as I can and try to
talking about, he's a little under the weather, so
still, since last week, man.
Bro, you've been laboring with that. So I told you got to smash the zinc and the vitamin C,
The past couple of days, I've been crushing oranges and everything along those lines. But yeah, it started to come back the past couple of days. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, no, Hangry Wife, it's all fun and games. Like, I remember a couple times in hockey in some big games, I've celebrated, like, after scoring, and then immediately after the other team scores. And the worst thing is when I celebrate, I don't go too hard, but during this rivalry, I pointed at the bench and I laughed, right? And then moments later, they scored and they end up winning the game. And that's like, I don't even know what that is. That's like pouring like the most amount of salt into the wound. It hurts so much more. You're just so gutted at the end of the day.
Dara says it's karma, bro.
It's big time karma, and that's why I just stopped doing those things. But I'm looking to.
Why'd you do it, Joey?
I don't know. Oh man, when you get hyped in a game and you just don't like the other individuals.
I'll play it, bro.
I tend to do that. But excuse me, I like IONQ here. IONQ, whatever you call it, Ionic, whatever you would like. Potential hammer candle right there, so you can have your risk profile relatively defined. It's about 50 cents or so. 74, 72 is what we're currently trading at, and then we want to give it to 90s potentially there. But this overall, the market is coming back. We holding VWAP. We were trading south of that for a little bit. Bitcoin's given up that move to the top side, going from 69.70s back down to 69s. So keep an eye out on that one. Is this going to be a potential reload here on NVDA? We're going to be patient just in case we get an additional dip down to 99.60s. Then I think that's going to be a good reload opportunity.
I'm reloaded. All right, I'm working my way into Big Bear here after that 822 pop. I'm going to look to work my way into 8. 8 is obviously the psychological area of support as well, currently of the volume weighted average price. So we'll see what we'll get. Very small share size because I'm punching in at highs, so we have to take that into consideration. I also worked my way back into ONMD. We're going to look for a VWAP hold here and a continuation possibly into the area highs. It's showing me 62 right now. We've got 58. No reason to take profits here. I'm looking for a continuation and a test of a possible high of day. That high of day is 75 pennies, $3.75. ONMD, not a bad look, looking for continuation, but it's a QNRX show, Joey, because it's halted up again. 1536 having halted at 950.32. It is currently 54, so we may have another minute or so before this one unhalts. Can keep an eye out on that, but I'm really focusing right now on ONMD and BBAI. Definitely not going to take anything below $8 on BBAI, but definitely looking for more than the 60 penny print here on ONMD to test the highs. We got higher lows and higher highs, and now we just opened up a new 5-minute candle, and now we're taking out 63, showed me 64 momentarily. Can we get that continuation? We're not getting the continuation, Joey. So we're going to have to pack our patience on this one as it kind of does slow down a little bit. Showed me 63, now a little 64. No print, no cross. We got to wait. This is why I wanted the mid-print thing with OB yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. Looking for continuation. Joe, what do you got?
We're taking the fills on NVDL. There we go, screen. There we go. Thanks, Assassino. I mean, there it goes, right? We're posted up at 20s. Catch the fill at 30s as well, too. I have 20% of this position remaining, so we'll go 10 on each, so a couple more outs there. But a big-time move. Someone wants to take a look at AMD. I mean, that's the thing. I was listening to Josh Brown talk about this name, and he had such a valid point. Who's buying this up here? Who is buying AMD at 240?
Lots of people.
I mean, but apparently to him, it's not a good idea to do so. I mean, Sharif, if you look at this, after that 240 level, what do we have consistently right there?
We're going to take some profits, man. The thing rocketed up like 50%.
Yeah. Absolutely. But that leads to my point, right? Like, you rocket up 50%. Are you buying a stock after it pumps 40%?
You asking me personally? No. But
right?
there are people, quantitative people who do, because the data tells them that it's going to continue to move up. They don't care about TA. Like your friend Nimrod, he doesn't care about technical analysis. He's a statistics guy.
He's starting to.
Is he actually?
Brother, where's Nimrod? Are you in the chat, brother? This guy's only options now. He doesn't even look at equities anymore.
But isn't he executing through the quantitative analysis?
I think he's doing some of that.
I remember absolutely.
For sure. But I mean, he's all options now.
All about that
he loves it. He thinks it's a thing of beauty. Oh my God!
What happened?
Look at NVDA go. This is insane. We have to take a little bit more. This was a repeat of yesterday. Oh man, we didn't get the reload on that one. I don't get that, Phil. What kind of criminal activity is that? Bang. Oh my days, Sharif. Look at this thing go. ANVDA.
Get it, Joey.
Now tapping into 193, 92s, going to the 194s. Man.
Yo, you just dropped the gavel, bro.
There's
That's
so much
crazy.
going on. There's no. Oh, order in the court. Order in the court. Oh. Was that Fabian?
What the hell?
What the hell? What?
Yo, check your boy, Ram.
Yeah, check your boy, Ram.
Fabian, he scared the hell out of everybody.
Yeah. It was like,
the Chilean nightmare gave me a nightmare, bro.
Oh, here it goes. Another pop to the top side. Man, we needed more shares on this one. Obviously, hindsight 2020. But what an absolute monstrous move here in NVDA. Oh, I like APLD up here as well, too.
Okay.
You like that? Where the money at? So, yeah, I mean, we're rocking and rolling here, guys. Let's have some fun with it.
Yes,
Why not, right?
Nice call, Joey.
We only got so much time. I don't even know why I'm speaking like that. But anyways, let's have a little bit of fun. A pop just like that. I'm going to get all out of, oh my days. We're all out of NV. Oh, no, we're not just yet. Okay, there we go. Bang. There it is. What a monstrous move. An NVDA. Now, as for our APLD, Applied Digital, cooking up a storm in this one now, Sharif. I don't even know what to do.
That's okay.
Oh, man, bang. We'll take it for a move up there. Breaking through that $38 level, now climbing back towards the high. We'll go 3 for 4 here on the session.
That's what I want to hear, man. That's what I want to hear. We're doing it on Big Bear. Here we go. There it is, taking out the prints, and there is the high of the day again. Now we're waiting north of the high of the day. You guys know, if we're in the 20s, I'm waiting at 25. If we're in the 60s, I'm waiting at 69s, and let's just cut it from there, okay? After those print, we're just gonna get out. No, I'm playing, exaggerating for effect, as usual. Looking for that move continuing here on Big Bear. We got a 24 high. We did get the print at 23s, not at 25, so we'll have to pack our patience there. But this ONMD trade, I don't know how I feel about this anymore, man. It's got higher lows currently, but it's finding a lot of resistance at, I believe, 64 pennies. We can't shake the 64 seller, and I'm actually waiting ahead of that. I'm actually waiting at 64, but didn't cross. So we're going to pack our patience there. And before we send it to Adara, I want to mention BITF. You guys have been yelling about this. It's not a small cap gapper in the strict sense. It's like a couple of $1 billion market cap. But look at this. Bull flag after bull flag. Keep your eye on BITF. Adara.
These University of Michigan consumer sentiment prints. Sentiment actually higher than expected, 55 versus 54 forecast. 5-year inflation expectations in line with estimates, 3.7% versus 3.7% expected. And the 1-year inflation expectation here, a little bit lower, 4.6% year versus 4.7% expected. So again, these numbers here, not too bad, better than expected sentiment, which the market usually likes, and lower than expected 1-year inflation expectations. Again, 5-year pretty flat. Market not reacting too much to this number here, guys. That was really the only economic number of the day. And really, I think, of the week of note. We also had here Qualcomm QCOM. Nvidia also on watch here with some China news. But Qualcomm, according to the State Administration for Market Regulation, facing an investigation here for potentially violating China's anti-monopoly law through its acquisition of an Israeli company. Then you have APLD on watch, Applied Digital, very near a new high of day. This one posting a double beat here for their earnings, 84% year-over-year increase in revenue. Before we send you back to those Bash Brothers, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN, because each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., and there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
I can't believe this. QNRX was going to halt down. Now it's halted up.
Damn.
It's halted up at 1925, but there's just no realistic method for me to manage risk on this. There just isn't. And so I'm not going to trade it. It's kind of crazy. All right, ONMD, there we go. We took out the beak wetter through the day's high. It's coming back down, so we'll take out the last remaining amount, break even, as this one did stop us out. So we're not in any positions right now. I got a BBAI as well because it also lost trend. We took that break even, but BBAI, it did wick a newer low on the 5-minute candle chart, which is why I got out. So I was putting my out at prior bar low. It's generally holding. I could buy this again at $8 with a super tight stop because if it loses VWAP, it loses VWAP. But it looks like it might be working its way back in. So I might have gotten bamboozled on this one for the last remaining amount. We'll keep tabs on that though. But I want to set up on BITF as well, because BITF is coming into that 490 area. 490 is an area of local resistance. We double topped at 935 and 940, dropped back down to about 471 before clearing that 490 area eventually. So I'd like to build a position in the low 90s if I can, to possibly get in some here for a nice move up here on BITF, which has news, by the way, up about 20%, Joey.
All right, guys, looking for a future tradings platform that actually delivers without hitting costs. With plus 500 futures, you get free live charts, transparent fees, low margins, and an unlimited demo so you can practice until you're ready to trade live. Open an account and start trading with as little as $100. With plus 500's powerful platform, you can access a wide range of futures markets. The S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, gas, Forex, metals, crypto, and more, all in one place. Plus, enjoy a welcome bonus of up to $200 in commission-free trading. Just scan the QR code on the screen to apply for your account today. Join over 300 million users worldwide who have already chosen plus 500. All right, now, man, that break-even stop out here on APLD. That's right, we'll go 2 for 3 on this name. We pretty much caught the top there on NVDL for now. I was happy to take it off. Like, look at that top wick right there. What a thing of beauty. For me, I mean, it could continue to climb higher, but we're talking about the fact that we have that high concentration of open interest. There goes IONQ. Why didn't I just take that one? No, we talked to it. Was it on the support? Look, Katina Man. Support on IONQ. We got it right there. It's on the sticky note. Man. Katina, I got to do maybe a couple more sticky notes here for the folks. No, I would never obviously say that, and obviously being sarcastic is probably a little bit of fun. But no, in all seriousness, guys, that concentration on NVDA is extremely high. NVDL up 1.5%, right? So we got 0.75 roughly on the actual underlying asset. This is just derived from it. That's why I trade this name. It is now $100, right? So why not just use that 2x leverage? I was talking with Obi about it yesterday, and he's like, hey, man, because, well, one, you can leverage your system, and the notional cost of actually grabbing more shares is almost at 50% less. So, DJ, we need a sticky note. I know. That could say anything. I know it kid. You guys can't see it. Hold on. I don't like there you go. Support. What does that say? Support there, but it's done. I'm obviously just having a little bit of fun with that. That's not how I do my morning notes there, Danny, in all seriousness. But we're going to continue to look at these names. Essentially, it's been a fantastic move here in NVDA. It was identical to what we were putting up yesterday as well, as it's going towards that high of the day. So a really, really good, strong move in one of these big names, and that's exactly... You know he can't. Yeah, exactly. I forgot he had eye surgery, so he can't really actually probably look at the screens or anything along those lines. So that's probably not the best idea. But no. Well, I was just saying. I'm like, look, Katina, man, look at this. Look at the sticky note.
Katina Man's in the chat?
No, he's not. But someone made a valid point. He just had eye surgery, so the chances of him seeing this, right, is funny. But no, I'm just having a little bit of fun with it, man, as we like to do, poke fun at each other because that's what friends do at the end of the day. Would you even are you even friends if you can't make fun of each other? Probably not.
No, because then it's like all formal and weird and stuff like that. Right? You know what I mean? Like I gotta plug in here, otherwise.
Oh, you're not tapped in. Yeah, you gotta make sure you're tapped into there, guys. We're getting an addition. Yeah, exactly. Sure. We're getting an additional Sorry,
getting,
excuse me. Rejection. Yeah, I'm struggling over here, Sharif. We're getting an additional rejection of 194.40s here. So keep an eye out on this level. Is this an all-time high on NVDA? No, not quite. 195.15.
Yesterday was all-time high.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking today maybe we were past that point, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So right now I'm just sitting on my hands waiting for a primetime opportunity. I think APLD is primed to go. So if we get an additional pullback, maybe we'll get involved in that name once again.
Yes, Tisha, I see QNRX, Tisha, but you are a lot braver than me. You are the winner of today's biggest mover challenge. Absolutely, Tisha Perkins. This thing is all gas. Well, it had a couple of breaks, Tisha, but you get the point. A couple of red candles littering that chart. Now, here's the insanity. You guys ready for the insanity? We're halted at $22. The tap is $50. $30 higher, well, almost $30 higher than where we tapped out at. So keep your eye on that. But we're back in Big Bear and we're taking prints. We're in the at the 20 penny area, just wet the beak there into the day high of 30. Waiting next at 33. Keeping my eye on this one. I also did work into BITF. We're in at that 90 penny area. I'm interested into 80s. So this is very small share size that we're getting into on BITF at these levels. We're going to go ahead and wait mid 80s as well for an ad because that is still well above the 10 EMA on the 5. So that's what I'll be looking at there. But yeah, guys, look, QNRX is beautiful. And you know, it probably elicits a lot of FOMO within people, right? Because you see the move, you're like, oh, if I only punched, what's the worst that could have happened? Well, I've been on the receiving end of some of the bad moves that these halters have put in before, and it's not a good feeling, to be quite honest with you. So it's just really hard to manage risk with these ones, and I personally don't know how to do it that well. Maybe there's others that are a lot better at it. All right, keeping my eye on BITF, waiting for that dip trade. Still waiting for this to trigger. Not quite giving me the print yet as it's not crossing. There we go. Now we get the print. It's going to have to hold above the volume weighted average price, which is at 478. So we're going to keep tabs on that. The OG Bovin telling me Zena is moving, and oh baby, is it ever. Zena, there it is, Assassino, right on the top right of your screen there. We'll throw in the ticker. We're going to have to obviously keep a tab on this because it is one hell of a mover over here. I don't know why I can't type properly. 643. It looks like it closed out yesterday at 560. So great strength on this one. Definitely going to put this up on the trading screen. Who are we going to remove? I don't want to remove QNRX because we got to keep tabs on that. ONMD still okay. So I want to hold that one as well. And ZENA, is this on the NQ? Yes, it is. 2 penny spread, decent. We can manage with that. Shout out to the OG Bovin pointing out yet another good one. And there it goes into the high of the day at 647. Shout out to Maxi, man. Maxi Jr. went in 100 shares at $13.80 on QNRX. It is now halted at 22. And let me just take a gander here.
100 at what price?
At 1380. It's halted at 22.
Damn.
So he's up bigly.
That's a nice day.
The tap is dropping down from 50. I didn't expect it to stay at 50, quite frankly, and it's now 28, but that's a healthy tap, baby. That is one hell of a healthy tap. That's a $4 move just right off the jump there. So QNRX will maintain its position on the side charts because, well, it's still warranted to do so. But here's our move now on BITF. We've got 90s on. Let's put some profit takers in the mid 90s. They're looking for continuation on that. What the hell is this, bro?
What the hell?
Get out of here. Windows, man. It's ultimate crap. I hate Windows. There goes BBAI Joseph. We take out the high of the day. We're holding shares. Yeah, we're holding, bro. And now we're posting up at 39. We just got 35s. Packing the patience on the Baird one. Looking for more, baby. Maybe that $0.50. It's got 11 1/5 under its sales today. Keeping this bad boy up. 836 high. Looking for more, Joey.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I got to get this. We got to get some vitamin C up in here.
Vitamin C, eh? Yeah, you got to throw in the zinc too, though.
Yeah, you got to throw in a little bit of zinc. Yeah, I would grab some of that there at lunchtime. There goes NVDA punching through some of those levels there, guys. So
Big Spy was very, very pumped about the troll, about the Butterfingers. I had my phone on silent.
I'm sure he was.
But he was very, very impressed with it. I love Big Spy.
Yeah,
bro.
we love him too.
We need to see the guy up here, bro.
Yeah, what is he doing?
I don't know. I don't know if he's still on vacation.
If he's still listening, ask him if he's got an upper decky or a lower decky in. I'm sure
I
you
don't
can
want to ask because I don't know what that is. What is that?
He knows exactly. It's nothing bad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot Ramin doesn't like
All right,
those.
let's ask him.
You got an upper decky or a lower decky?
Joseph wants to know if you have an upper decky or lower decky. Deck or director of operations from a construction firm. That's what he does. He's director of operations.
I'm more curious. So, look, so someone Mayak always asking us if we're gonna get the oranges up in there as well too. There, street. What?
Yeah. You should have seen what he was doing the other day, Ram. He was mixing orange juice with water. It was like, what the hell?
What do you mean? What's so wrong with that? I just don't want that much sugar. I just don't want that much sugar.
Zins.
Yeah.
But that was my immediate thought. But I'm like, I didn't even know he did.
I wouldn't.
I didn't know.
No, well, I know he does because he talked to me about.
Okay.
What are your takes on Shorzy? I don't even know what that is. Is that hockey podcast? I honestly don't listen to them.
Of course.
Shorzy is?
Shorzy,
is the hockey podcast? Yeah. No, I don't listen to that stuff, man.
It's a spin-off of that Canadian show, Letterkenny, but it's hockey-based. It's not a podcast.
Hilarious. Letterkenny is hilarious. Wow.
Hold on, Shorzy's not Canadian, Adara? It is. Yeah, because I figured it's like hockey, right?
So yeah, I mean, I'm hockey through and through, but I don't watch hockey shows. I got a game tonight at 9 o'clock, McCormick, so go and check it out there. Let's see if we can net a couple there after this. I got to hit the gym as well, too. So you get that move right up into 195, guys. You're starting to reject there on NVDA. Where's my guy, Marek? Our Malik, he's always curious if we got the water going. So we got the water going here with some citrus in there. So exactly, Hydration Nation 101. So shout out to Katina Man once again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take another little bite. APLD starting to come back in. Tesla getting smoked to the downside. Cracking through some key levels here on the low. Brother, you don't even know what I seen this morning at King and
Bro, I never get surprised anymore, man.
Oh,
and it
man.
breaks my heart to even mention
does,
it.
Man.
There's some stuff that I see every day. That's
it was
wild.
not good. Bright and early. 7:45 in the morning, just losing their ish. So don't do drugs there, folks.
The thing is, too, it's just like I see the same guy every day, and he's in the Fent fold, right?
Oh yeah,
right, and it's the same spot every day,
man.
Right?
Where do you think? It's like, what are you doing? It's like nothing. There's a guy. There's a guy, Sharif, in the Wellesley station there.
Yeah, Wellesley, okay.
The bottom, from the knee down.
Yeah.
Just rotten. I haven't seen him in a while.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's but anyway.
All right. Super chat, baby. Shout out to G-Talk 5150. Please cover SoFi. You ask, you get. Let's load up SOFI. Your boy Joey Options has loved this one, and Hood for quite some time now. So we're going to shout out Joey Options for calling that one out. Let's look at the daily on this. Okay. We got a beautiful hold off the 50 not that long ago, taking profits from that $30 breach. So $30, clearly an area of technical resistance. I won't be convinced otherwise. You got a topping tail candle there. And sorry, it was a doji candle, a candle of indecision, sometimes referred to as a reversal candle. Then you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lower low, lower high days in a row before this candle here on the 6th of October. Shout out to my old man. That's his birthday. And then that one made a higher low and a higher high, and we've been trending since then. Alas, we're still not through that $30 area. At least intraday, we did test it, $29.80, and then all hell broke loose on the downside. So I'd be interested in a $30 break and take, but you gotta love the retracement into the 50. It holds the 50 to the T, and then rockets right back up into that area of technical resistance again. But I need to see a higher high to keep me feeling that the trend is intact, right? If you're only seeing a bounce or a bounce off the 50, for example, but you're not getting continuation of the previous trend vis-a-vis a higher high, then that would be cause for concern to me. Wouldn't make me sell the position, but I would, be more realistic in my expectations rather than to always be looking for that higher high. Say, okay, maybe we accumulate here for a little bit for a $30 break. Take a gander at what Apple's been doing at 260, for example. Gets into that level, rejects, accumulates. So that, and look at what it did at 200 for almost 2 years. right? So that is not unusual to see with these ones. Big Bear AI is breaking down here, Joey. We only have one more out on this, and I want to pick up some more here because we're barely holding any shares, so I don't mind this going against me. I want to pick up some at the 10, and then we'll see what comes from that. What do you got?
All right, beautiful stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at BBAI as well, too. APLD is not doing too much, so we got that second chance on that one. IONQ starting to come back in, market coming back in altogether. Nice short there on... all right, there we go. We got more of those. I was like, okay, more power forward. What's up,
Eric.
Steven Springer, the Springer of Rain? You know who the Springer of Rain is.
Of course. Wasn't that, what's his name? Donaldson? The bringer of rain.
Springer on the Jays, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it was Josh Donaldson back in the day. He was the bringer of rain,
Yeah,
right?
I remember shout out Josh Donaldson. And what was that guy that we got from the Rockies name again?
From the Rockies?
Yeah, the Colorado Rockies. Starts with a T. Anyways, yeah, we'll ask those guys later. I forget his name.
He's losing trend here. BITF is losing trend. We're going to have to take an L on this one, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys. What are your thoughts on DKNG? Time to buy. Let's take a gander at that one. Hydration Nation right there. Got the orange. You can I can start to feel that kicking in. That's looking really good. DKNG, when there's blood in the streets, do you start buying a little bit more on DraftKings? I'm so shocked that this bleeding is continuing, to be honest with you. Should I be shocked? I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is, Assassino. Oh. We'll throw this up there, and then we're going to throw one of these up there as well, too. Just because that's what's going on. It's a complete rinsing over here on DKNG. And yeah, I mean, like if you talk about repeat offenders, this isn't anything to be overly surprised about, but maybe you can slowly start allocating a little bit, but if it continues to bleed and you're cracking 30s, then you probably want to just get out of that trade altogether. Is BMY a good entry? What's your feel on them growing? Let's take a look. BMY. I don't know too much. Oh, is this Bristol Myers? Okay. Oh, man, that's not a good look there on Bristol Myers. Any thoughts on Bristol Myers there, Shree?
What's the ticker?
BMY, yeah.
Okay.
We know that Kramer loves
Bristol Myers Squibb.
Yeah, we know Kramer loves Bristol Myers.
All right, let's have a look. Oh, boy, biotechs.
Yeah.
Let's go to the weekly. Let's get a gander about where we could see support. Clearly, $40 support. That takes us back to 2019. It also takes us to the yen and carry trade in August of 2024. Yeah, Joey, this is not a good look because it was ranging. I want to say it was ranging from 2014 to the breakdown in 2023. And then it made those area lows where it lost that 2019 low. And then, most notably, it comes into the 200. It pops back up off 40, gets into 60, comes into the 200, and rejects. So clearly, this is still being controlled by the sellers. Yeah, I don't like this, especially if it loses 40 again. I don't know too much about their product pipeline, quite frankly. I haven't been really keeping track on this, not one that I really keep an eye on. But from the technicals, you can clearly see $40 is an interesting level. And the most notable part to me is that when we got up into the 200, simple moving average, we rejected it very, very clearly. And that is not of interest to me, Joey.
Okay, right on. Thank you for that one. Sharif. All right. Kun Zera, I'm sorry, I probably did butcher your name, but thoughts on CoreWeave, please, and thank you. Once again, thank you for that $2 super chat there. USD is for around $4 snow pesos. We like that one. Let's pull it up on CR.
I told Brendo that yesterday. He hadn't heard it before.
What, snow peso?
Yeah.
Oh, no. All right. The 5 minute. As for CoreWeave, I mean, like is this downtrend still intact? Am I tapped in here? I didn't hear. I hear Adair, but okay. Okay, cool. So essentially here, we'll finish the super chat before we send it back to Adair. You've snapped that trend. You now have a potential uptrend intact here as well, too. So as long as that holds, you may get a couple whipsaw moves. But, I mean, with CoreWeave, I don't think it's too bad of a play. Like, surprisingly, off of the IPO, it has been one of the least affected names. So is that something positive for it? And we know what's going on with the hyperscalers and cloud and everything along those lines. So it might be still a good buy, but I wouldn't go all in at once, that's for sure. Adair, what do you got for us?
Let's talk here about these small cap names. I do apologize. There's going to be a lot of overlap here with what Sharif is trading over there. So just be aware. QAnon Pharmaceuticals here, QNRX. This one announcing a $104.5 million private placement, and it is a multiple halter. Couldn't find much information on the float on this one, actually, oddly enough, but it did have a fairly small market cap. The market cap for QNRX coming at just under $13 million. Zenatech here, ZENA. This one here, roughly 10 million share float, acquiring some PUT land surveying to expand their drone as a service operations across Arizona. This catalyst is from yesterday, so it looks like a bit of a delayed reaction here for ZENA. Last but not least, BITF, as Sharif mentioned, this one pushing a little bit lower now from the highs, but there is news on this one. They're converting their private debt facility from Macquarie to an up to $300 million project-specific financing facility. So changing their debt structuring, it looks like here for BITF. This one does have a double-digit short float in the low teens. And yeah, BITF certainly on watch, slightly larger market cap, around $2.7 billion. Before we send you back to the guys, take a moment to thank our friends and check out our friends here at Trade the Pool with their Beat Ackman live trading competition, which is here. This is the last day, guys, October 8th to 10th, because every day Ackman makes his move. And your mission is to outperform him. Beat his return, prove you've got what it takes. Then, the grand finale on October 13th, broadcast live on Trader TV. With the Trade the Pool team live in the studio. Over $600,000 in prizes are up for grabs. $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000 valuation accounts, plus surprise giveaways during the live show. Don't just watch, compete. Beat Ackman, win big. Scan the QR code to start trading. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. All right, BBAI just taking out the highs, man. This has been a good trade today. We picked it up again at 18s, and there it goes into 46. It's a 48 high. Here comes 50 pennies on Big Bear AI, 13%, 48s now, looking to squeeze into 50. But let's report on the good and the bad. And this was a bad trade. BITF didn't hold at the 10. It didn't hold at the 20. Do you want to guess, Joey, what it did at VWAP?
Bounced right off.
It didn't hold VWAP. No, that's why we got stopped out. Yeah, BBAI actually held VWAP quite well. So this is our first loser on the day. BITF, that little, it broke down. So this is of no longer of any interest to me. Now we're going to be focusing on, yes, Big Bear 853 high. We're also going to be keeping an eye on ZENA. This one's right back close to that 50 penny area. It is a 652 high of day. It's showing me 48s at the moment. It's got a good amount of volume. I mean, it's not bad. 1 3/4 million shares on a $6.50 name by 1030. I've seen better. I'm not going to complain because, well, you know, the pickings have been slim lately, but today we've got some good ones. So let's see what we do here with that $0.50. Do we zig and zag a little bit with that $0.50, or do we clear it and then start using it as a support level? I'm talking about, of course, ZENA. Shout out to the guy in the chat there. I just need to see what he said. Because he was going back and forth. He's like, look, man, your charts are hard to read, but like, I mean, I've made them as big as I can over here. Like, is this not?
Do the overlap like me.
Which one?
You see how it's.
Yeah, but look at the size of this one over here. Assassino show. I mean, like that's pretty big right there.
It's big, hard to see, man. The heli.
All right. Anyway, did you get to Lisberto Calvo about SPY hitting 700? Because he asked you there. Joe, I asked before you saw that one.
No, I didn't go over it, though.
Okay, let's go over that one. And then Patrick Wielder as well. Quit my nursing career to pursue something 100% different. So far, I'm locked in. What are your thoughts on the healthcare industry stocks? You know, it's been a tough time for them as of late, you know, whether it's United Health, or, oh my God, Zena just took out the top there. I'm sitting here talking.
Yeah, I want me to take over. Yeah, I'll take over.
But I have to give my opinion. United Health, but obviously we've bounced off the area lows there. Look, I foresee some trouble for these healthcare stocks because of some macro headwinds. You have obviously an aging baby boomer population. All of those are going to start obviously taking from Medicaid and Medicare. Now you could say, well, you know, that's going to increase their TAM, the total addressable market. Why would they do badly? Well, because the government, right? The government doesn't want to pay these prohibitive fees, and so they're negotiating with these healthcare companies to lower the rates, and we saw that under former President Biden. We're seeing the continuation of that with current President Trump. So I feel margins may be trouble for some of these healthcare companies. And you're not just seeing it with like healthcare and Medicare, you're seeing it in the prescription game as well, where the government is negotiating with the prescription or with the drug makers directly to lower some of these costs. That's margin compressing. So you never really know how this thing is going to go, but I don't personally have any biotech, healthcare, pharmaceutical names in my portfolio. Are you holding any?
No, zero. For me, it's like the energy sector. I mean, it can play catch up, maybe, possibly. I just don't know enough about the space. And it's been lagging, right? Is it going to ever play catch up? I truly don't know. I think at some point it will get a little bit of a rebound, but from an intraday standpoint, we don't really trade it that often, right? So, sorry, I was just choking on my water earlier there. All right. So no, we're rocking and rolling now. I just got to get all of the whatever's left. There it goes on CoreWeave. We're long some CoreWeave here, guys. Oh. But as for, I know you touched on Lisberto Calvo's super chat just a little bit there, Sharif.
Sir.
But yeah, as for the SPY, we're trading around 673 right now. So, I mean, by the end of the year, that can most definitely be in the works. And there goes NVDA tapping into 195, going to 195 and a quarter as well, too, there. So not a horrible, horrible look. But let's see what we got going on with CoreWeave. See if we can break this VWAP. Getting a nice little bounce. I like our chances here. Risk profile extremely defined. 88s. We're out of this at 148, 110%. So let's see if we can get this bounce through. The market is starting to trade higher once again. BBAI is an absolute monster.
Rocket.
Yeah, way to crush that one there, brother.
Back in.
Yeah. Okay. You're playing that 850 break, eh?
Well,
okay,
it's zigging and zagging with 850, Joey, but the current 5-minute candle has a higher low.
Fair enough.
So I wasn't dissuaded really by that. But I've also worked in here, guys, into ZENA. We're getting in small because we're getting in at the top with some planned dollar cost average levels here into the 10 EMA on the 5, which is a little bit south of 40 pennies. Hence why I'm front running it. I don't have any profit takers posted quite yet on this one, so we'll maybe put one at or near the high of the day. 60 is the high of the day. I posted at 59. But I want to work back into Big Bear AI, Joey, because I feel like maybe, it is rejecting 50. It's clearly sellers at 50, but we'll see what this one ends up doing. Show that, man.
Yeah, we're going again. We're getting it rocking and rolling again here, guys. We got a couple pennies, but we're looking for 50s, 150s, that is to be exact, before we look to take anything off there. Risk 50 cents to make $1 roughly, so a little bit more than that. So a 2.1 to 1 is kind of the risk to reward that we're aiming on. That one, IONQ starting to get a little bit of bounce and of a curl over. But if it rejects this, right, then and we come back into the zone, then maybe we just hop out and find a better entry. Those shorts are just getting absolutely blown out of the water here today, Sharif. This is insane, my friend, on some of these moves in NVDA. Look at the 20. Okay, we're closing contracts, right? We said, oh, no, the 195s. Okay, we're gaining some open interest. So we were at 130. We were at 130 there earlier in the day, now at 137. 172 now as for the volume being put at that level, and then also at that $200 strike price as well. So, man, oh man, we're tripping over pennies. Man. We're tripping over pennies at this point there, Sharif. We're tripping over dollars to collect pennies, I guess that it is the saying. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, keep an eye here in ASPI. This name is already really strong today. Apparently, they announced some investor events that are going to be happening in November, but this most recent pop to the upside could be because Zero Hedge, which is a popular account website, they're very active on X. Anyways, they just said that they are encouraging people to go long ASPI. They already put that note for their subscribers a week ago, so there's already people who potentially acted on this a week ago, but now they're publicizing this on X. ASPI, long idea here from Zero Hedge. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Adara. So there goes IONQ, really nice curl over off of those lows there, guys. So kind of just the same thesis. You can see the identical price action within the prints and what we got going on with CoreWeave. Nice, strong opening drive. Same things that we're kind of looking at here, just a little bit south of VWAP, but you get that curl over, a little liquidity grab, and then it's just been a nice steady move to go and test some of these levels. Same thing again. Essentially, if you do fail to construct a new high, then you just have that basic trend line here. Coming from those pre-market levels to what that intraday top was at. So look out for this 76.50 level. If you crack and sit on the backside of this trend, I like your chances to continue to climb higher. Wow, BBAI is insane. It is still climbing higher and higher and higher. Man, oh man, oh man. Come on, CoreWeave, you can do it. Let's get this rocking and rolling. So we can go 4 for 5 here on the day, but it's not looking like it wants to get moving in our direction right now. NVDA now tapping into 195.50s. So that's a big time move over there. Come on, should be moving in correlation. There it is, a big time dump in CoreWeave. We're gonna hop out of this one there, Sharif.
All right, Joey, setting up some profit takers here on ZENA. Also, disappointed I didn't punch back into BBAI, man. I should have been getting back in at the $0.50. I started focusing on STAI and ZENA. And look, it hasn't been bad, but I feel like we may be caught in a false break here on STAI. Got a couple of beak wetters through into that 80 area. It had trouble clearing 80. Now it's coming back down, but if it loses 70, that's where my stop is. So I'm going to continue to watch here to see if this one is making higher lows. The prior bar has a low of 72 pennies, so if it loses 72 pennies, well, it'll be really close into my out on that one. So we'll pack our patience and see what we get there. Now keeping an eye. Oh, nice, ZENA popping back up and giving me the print there. So let's go ahead and wait at 55s next. We have 55s, 59s. You got a bottoming tail candle right now on ZENA, bought up aggressively, so I'm packing my patience there. Yeah, you're right, Joey. BBAI has got the juice, man. 8.73. It's at the $0.75. It was just at the $0.25, and this one's really rocketing up. I just don't like punching into highs, okay? Yeah. That's my issue there. I need to get... sometimes I do punch in at highs, but it's obviously smaller amounts, which obviously limit the potential profit if it doesn't come back in and trigger more of your orders. So let's continue to watch as we get into that 880 area. It feels like it's going to be a $90, maybe reach a $9 touch and drop today, or maybe not even drop. Who knows what we get on with BBAI. Yeah, I'm going to pack my patience maybe for a $0.50 test, or somewhere in around the 50s, because I don't really want to chase it at these levels. So we'll see how that feels. GWH apparently feels clear now, says Aura Alpha. It's below VWAP, brother. So yeah, that's not going to work out for me on that. Damn. But thanks for pointing that out. It's still on the side chart, to be fair. So we'll keep tabs on, of course, GWH. If it is warranted, we will trade it. Let's go ahead and wet the beak a little bit over there on this other ZENA as we get another little print on there. And then last but not least, STAI, the one that I feel like I got in a false break-in. Where are we along? We're along 76. It's showing me 75s. So right at the money at the moment. Definitely looking for continuation above VWAP. I'm looking for the holding of higher lows. So I've moved up my stop now from the breach of 70 pennies into the just a little bit below the prior bar low. That's going to be my move there. We'll see what we get on that one. Hopefully we don't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. There we go. We'll take another print there on ZENA as it works back close to highs. We got 45s on. It's showing me 55s. The next profit taker is at 59, but I saw this one spike before, so let me go ahead and take some more orders to the high side there, and then we're going to wait a little bit higher in 69 Areaville. Look at Big Bear, man. Big Bear is squeezing into 77s it goes. Joey, it's got a lot of strength right now. 79s now, the high of the day. Big Bear is on its way to $9 or so. It feels up 17%.
All right, man. CoreWeave. Yeah,
Boom,
let's get out of this name here on CoreWeave. We'll give a little back of the day there. That downtrend is still fully intact here. So we were just going against that. Not too good of a play on that. So we'll avoid CoreWeave for now. There might be another opportunity to get involved as the market's just continuously climbing higher. IONQ is now north of that trend line that we were referring to earlier on the session as well. Gaurav, I know you're short NVDA out here. I mean, that signal's not too bad. All right, let's do it. I'm in it. I'm in some with you there, my guy. I potentially like it really a lot up here. But see, the thing is, though, we got to keep an eye out. If it's going to continuously squeeze, we only want to give this so many attempts, right? We don't want to continuously try to milk a stone here, especially if it's going to go on the trajectory that it's currently on. Why am I going short a little bit here? Well, we got a bunch of indecision prints. I think this is overextension. We had the isolated volume. So I have about approximately 40 cents of risk I have to give this one here. 50 cents, and if it really starts to work, we'll add into the position. So we'll start relatively light and look for that move back in towards the volume weighted average price. Gore, remember that play that we made on NVDA before, just correlating the open interest with what we got going on. And now we're north of that 195 strike. Let's see if we can get the hedgies to start pushing price back down a little bit. So there it is. You are getting a bit of a move. I'm just I'm gonna be overly cautious on the fact that these are gonna be micro pullbacks and it just continuously grind. And at that point, I think it's just best to avoid the name at all costs.
All right. E-Signal, you listening, Ozan? All right, traders, listen up. The first month, it is absolutely free. That's right, we're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, and of course, yes, capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. And you can predict better with their backtesting tool, reliable, real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. It's an all-in-one platform, so do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, and you should, scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the good folks there at E-Signal. Joey.
Wow, IONQ. Why wasn't I trading that name?
Joey, we're doing it live over here on ZNA. We got, what do we got there? 45s. We just wet the beak there at 65s. We could have taken out more profits, but I've set it up here at 77s on ZENA. So looking for continuation on that. Pleased with this trade. It went well, even though we were punching in at highs, but as you saw, we had to add a little bit there because when you're getting into the highs, it's a little bit tough to gauge where the top is going to be, obviously. So that's the look there on ZENA. And then STAI, man, we're going to see how this one ends up going. We got 75 pennies. It's showing me 73. So looking for continuation back and a test of 80 pennies again. So we'll pack our patience there. Anything below 70 ends the trade for me there. And I also want to mention, you guys already know about Big Bay Area, so I won't mention that again, but ONMD, when we were trading in the pre-market, just got up into the pre-market high again, but it did drop aggressively. 387 high, dropping all the way back down to 65, now showing me 72s. It's up 39% and change. It's a good look, man, on ONMD. Let me throw in the tickers. I do apologize there. Yeah, are you able to see that well yet?
What's that one there?
Right there. It's not the greatest. I wish I could make it a little bit bigger, but that's as big as it gets on this platform. So ONMD, guys, look, it dropped below VWAP and was of no interest to me at the time, but it quickly retraced above it. It only spent about 3 candles below VWAP before it got right back above of 41%, looking to take out the highs again now on ONMD. So this one, all gas, no brakes, Joey. Let's see what this one does. It was dropping back down and had me disinterested, but now it's got me interested again. We're going to keep tabs on this one.
All right, good look, good look. Yeah, it's continuing to climb. CoreWeave still selling off. So we're going reverse play here now, and this is what I'm talking about, these shallow pullbacks, and I'm only going to give this one attempt, and I'm going to allow NVDA to do what it wants to do, all right? So this is definitely a higher accuracy type of trade here on this one that I'm thinking about, because just the trend that it's on. If you see those things, I just want to avoid it at all costs and save the mental capital there. So I'm short NVDA. Is my chat frozen? I haven't seen anybody write anything in a long time. I think Core.
Yeah, because mine's moving. So
yours is moving? Yeah, I got to refresh that here. Let's see what we got going on, because that was the last thing that I seen was my guy Gorov saying short. I like the 5-minute print. I don't see too much on the ones. So yeah, there it goes, man. Tesla's starting to recover as well too.
Oh,
so not
my
too bad
God.
of a
Something happened with Lulu.
Is it getting smoked?
Okay, well, we're going to Adara.
Is it getting smoked?
No, it's popping up. Hold on, Adara.
Here you go, guys. Lululemon pushing higher. The news here is that apparently the company's founder said that they're looking at options for activism in Lululemon. It's reported by CNBC. So Lululemon reportedly considering options for activist investment. So keep an eye on LULU. I'll do the sector board really quickly while we're here because it is 10:40 a.m. A lot of things just lightly green. Oracle continuing to push to the upside here in tech services. Netflix up about 1% as well, though there is some weakness in ACN and AppLovin. Electronic technology, the chips continue to lead the way. AMD down 2%, continuing to pull back after this incredible rally earlier in the week. Nvidia, Broadcom, Arista Networks, and Intel all strong today. Finance with some strength, health technology with some strength, and the sector is going to be in watch day after the bell because Trump's 5 p.m. announcement is rumored to be about the most favored nations pricing policy and other drug-related deals. Producer manufacturing strong, utilities strong. Really, the only sectors that seem kind of weak here are health services and energy minerals. Back to you.
Ozan, man. Yeah, you called it, Ozan. We'll give you credit. You've been yelling about Lulu all day. But Joseph and I, look, because I heard you earlier saying in the chat, and I respect your opinion, Ozan, obviously, but you were yelling about, you know, this is going to make you rich, this, that, and the other. So, hey, man, I wish you...
Really rich.
Well, yeah, he is very rich. But the point is,
really rich.
I want Lulu to do well. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see what you like about this. Ozan, this is the daily on Lulu. You're below the 50. You're in a bit of a consolidative state. Sure, you're off that 160 area. You're hovering at 175. There's resistance I see at 185, given this area trough over here, let alone the 50 that's at 187. I want Lulu to do well. So I want to hear your case, Ozan, if you can kind of explain what the situation is with Lulu. Trader TV Live Dallas. If Joe or Sharif will give me a bet to sleep visit you guys. I told you, bro. You can stay at Joey's place anytime. You have my invitation. You can stay at Joey's place.
You're dropping him off, right?
I'm dropping him off.
Yeah,
I'll do that. I'll do that. You know what I mean? I might as well do something. No, I'm playing, of course. Shout out to you, Ozan. I hope you print up multiple storms. And thank you for calling out that Lulu headline. And thanks to Dara for covering that for us. All right, let's keep an eye here on ZENA because it's coming back down. We got 45s and it's now coming back down into 59. Double top at 70. Not really sure what my move is going to be next on this one. So packing my patience. I also have to manage STAI. This one is really starting, you know, to look worse and worse. It has buyers at 70, but it feels like it's just going to be any moment now where those sellers overwhelm the buyers at set 70 level. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. We've got right now 74.5 on, so we're out of the money on this one. We'll give back a little bit on the day if we do lose on this one, which will be fine. We'll still be green though. Nice. Daryl Finch, give me that shorted Lulu 176.25. Oh my guy. Let's have a look at the intro. We were just there, but let's do it again. Oh no, 176. You took that short, eh? And it's where is it at right now? Because it doesn't update. There we go, 173.50. Okay, so you took that $3 winner. Shout out to you, my man. Yeah, you know, price spikes are what they are. We'll see what the market thinks about this after it's had an opportunity to digest the entire thing, not intraday. Keep tabs on that. Should be a good look for Lulu, maybe, with this headline. We'll keep tabs. Ask Joe to share his DM for Lulu. I will. He's gone now. I don't know where he went. So as soon as he gets back, I will let him know. Guys, ONMD is still doing its thing. Where is it at? There it is. It's got some topping tails now into 390, so it's got a 394 high. It really can't close, at least on the 1 minute anyway, above that 390 level. So let's see if it comes back in and test the breakout area. I want to say the breakout area is between 65 to 75. You have the topping tail candles, which rejected 75, but all the closing prints in and around this area here were all 65 levels. So let's see what this one does. I don't mind weaseling into it. And there is STI breaking down, and that's going to be the end of the trade there. So we'll give back a little bit on STAI, no worries. And I have to mention, obviously, QNRX. What kind of a psycho would I be if I didn't mention the 300% winner that's halted up again to the upside, halted at 32.18, and it's showing a top of 38. And there it is open now, QNRX, and it is dropping aggressively. Let's see, does it get bought up? It is getting bought up, and there is the halt parameter into 41.80 as soon as people started selling. The buyers stepped in to buy what the sellers were selling, and here we are. We're going to halt, it looks like at 41.80 if we get more of this, and we do. Unreal strength on QNRX. What a high side move here. We were talking about this at 300 and change. Now we're talking about 400 and change. Keep your eye on this one and be careful trading it, by the way. Stonks by day. I love it. $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Please help. Joseph, BTCL, December 19th, $61 calls. When I try to take profit, the price tanks. Am I cooked? Forgot to check volume. My average is 809.
Yeah, volume is really key on some of those things. Guys, I got a worst case scenario happening right now as well too, Sharif. Really, really bad here. As for lunch, It's the worst case.
Bro, you tripped me out there, man. I thought something was going on with the position.
No.
What, we got tilapia?
No, bro.
We got beef strogie?
It's what? Yes, it is beef.
The beef strogie again.
Man, okay, let's get
Joey.
into what our friend here was talking about. Yeah, it's an absolute disaster. Please help. BTCL. I don't even know what this name is. So there goes NVDA, still grinding higher. I'm gonna probably have to get out of this. Not an ideal short, so we'll give a little bit more back there on the session. Let's pull this name up for you. Pull up. BTCL. Oh, 2x. Oh my days. All right, this is why we don't do these things, okay? Listen, all right. So I calls when I try to take profit, the price tanks, and my cook forgot to check volume. My average is $8.09 on those $61 calls. I mean, you're down, how many of them do you have? You're down $3 per contract, right? You can sell some things against that. It's not like horrid. I've been in worse situations than that. What expiration did he have there? Oh, 12/19. Okay, so the 19th of December. Let's pull those up there and see what we got going on. 61 bucks. Those are, whoa, what are you worried about? My average is $8. Okay, I see what you're getting at. They're worth $12 right now. Here it is, right? So I think you're okay. But yeah, that's the big time issue is obviously liquidity. 28 contracts right there. I would just continuously hold those offers out there to see if you can get any biters. The volume's not even moving or anything along those lines. So yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that volume is really, really key because if there's no liquidity in the options contracts, the market maker will give it to you, no problem. Hey, yeah, take it. But getting rid of it is significantly harder. I remember I ran into that issue. I had a bear call spread on, I forget what it was, but anyways, I had to call IBKR. Oh. And I was like, yeah, what is going on here? Why can't I get out? Why can't I get out? And this was in my earlier days. And he's like, buddy, like, just look at the volume. There's no volume on these contracts. And I'm like, what can I do? He's like, there's essentially nothing you can do until the volume starts to pick up. And I'm like, man, so eventually it worked out in my favor, thank God. But I was panicking because I'm like, what happened if I wanted to get out and I couldn't? So you're seeing that that's an obviously big time issue, guys. Make sure you take note of that.
Very good point,
if you're going to be trading contracts, that's why I have a concentration with roughly around the same names. Is why? Because the liquidity is there. It's not like these stocks. If I go over to something like one of the small cap names that Sharif is consistently trading, no volume, and you're not going to be having a good time. They'll give you the contracts. Yeah. They will give you the contracts, no problem. But getting rid of that's your issue at the end of the day. So,
yeah, so I never actually considered looking volume. The options route. Well, I always consider volume. And I did know that. Remember the CoreWeave short that we took?
Yeah.
And remember how it like lacked volume, whatever. Right when I got into the trade, I was out of the money like $300.
Oh, was that
immediately?
Yeah.
Because of the spread and the lack of volume, right? Yeah,
exactly.
I do remember that. That was one of like the first stints.
So I mean, you can see that's the thing. They're worth something. So I think what you have to do is just wait until something comes in. You're also playing a 2x leverage. So essentially you're playing a derivative of a derivative. I don't think that's the smartest thing to do either. You're in the money, but now you just got to be patient. Call your brokerage up and see what you can do. But just hold those offers. You're going to have to give a wide spread. Like, I mean, it's a $3 spread on this. That's insane, right? Check that spread out on those guys. The bid on the contract is on $7.50. Oh, I'm seeing $9, right, for those 61 strikes. There, is it Jason? Yeah, it's Jason, right?
Jason
it's somebody else. That's another super chat. Stonks by day, crypto by night. I like that one. I think you'll be okay. There's obviously just massive liquidity issues. Like, it's just really, really cooling down.
QNRX is open, gonna halt. It opened down, and then it was gonna halt up. So let's see what this one does now. It's below the lower, the opening of the lower of the previous candle, but it's holding the 10 EMA and holding the previous halt level at 32.20. It is gonna halt down though, 32.10. Here we go. This is gonna be the first down halt, I think, on the day. We have to wait until this actually halts. I just want to make sure that this is the first down halt. No, we got one down halt at 9:42. That was it. Every other halt has been an up halt. So this is two down halts. prior. This is the third one, excuse me. There was one at 9:36 and then again another one at 9:32. But since basically that time when we opened up at 9:48, it's only made higher highs and higher lows, which is obviously up halt. So QNRX down halted, tap showing 26.33, halt level 32.10. Adara.
Yeah, we'll talk here about the U.S. dollar. We did get some economic data this morning. 1-year inflation expectations here for the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, 4.6% versus 4.7% forecast. And then we also had the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, 55 versus 54 expected. So better than expected sentiment, slightly lower than expected 1-year inflation expectation. Usually things that are viewed as positive for the market. Just a little bit of context there for this U.S. dollar. The 5-year inflation estimate was flat, so exactly in line with estimates and in line with the previous print, 3.7% across the board. Now the U.S. dollar breaking its, 4-day winning streak, but still poised to continue this curl to the upside after making a new low of year on Fed Day, September 17th. Let's talk here about the Fed, because we do have a new Fed chair potentially coming up. Now, they've really cut down this list. Apparently, the top contenders right now, and I'm going to have to update this infographic, Kevin Hassett, Kevin Warsh, Christopher Waller, Michelle Bowman, and Rick Reeder. These are the top 5 contenders. Now, Rick Reeder of the 5 is the only one that has no kind of Fed background. Kevin Warsh was a former Fed governor. Michelle Bowman and Waller are both current Fed governors. And then Kevin Hassett worked at the Fed for 5 years, though not as a governor. So either way, Rick Reeder may be the dark horse in this race, but I'm seeing apparently he could be the front runner as well. Interesting stuff. Larry Lindsey, for what it's worth, he voluntarily withdrew himself from the race. He just said it's not something he wants to do right now. But these 5, according to CNBC, one of them could be the next Fed chair. Back to you.
There goes ONMD again. Joseph breaking through 4, taking out highs, a 415 high. We got out at 14s there. Sorry, 13s. Uh-oh. That's not good. But now the volume is really picking up. 16 area high. This one is awfully strong. But look at this ad on Zeta. That's crazy, bro. This trading is good today, Joey. Look at that ad. Come on. Look at these entries.
Zena.
Feel good. All right, let's set up at 69 right now. And then we're also setting up at 77. So ZENA headed to the high side. Show me 65s now. I'm waiting at 69. I did get out of, Rex Banner is asking me if I got out of ONMD. I did. I got out close to the top, never really at the top, but we got back in at, you'll recall, in the low 80s, and then we went the peak there in the mid-teens. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Shout out. Get that money, Lone. Shout out to my man, Lone. Rex Banner, Zena Warrior Princess. Yes, I know. Ram.
Did you say
Ozan wants to know Zena. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. All right. I was going to say, I'm like, whoa.
I know you got offended about that one last time. I remember you were talking about her.
When you asked me if I said Z or Z,
yeah,
I'm like, brother, I'm like, yeah, you asked me. I'm like, it's essentially irrelevant to me.
It's irrelevant. Well, I don't know, bro. I find myself always saying Zed.
Okay. Ram is going somewhere tonight.
Yo, Ram didn't sleep. So she's coming in decked out, right? Because she went out last night. We don't know where. She won't tell us. She won't also tell us where she's going later.
Yeah.
She got her hair did. Her makeup's done.
The lashes are done.
Yeah, she got the glasses. Yeah. She's feeling a little suave. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she won't answer any Joey's questions.
Yeah. I'm like, where are you going? Immediately.
Ram, why don't you grab the mic and let everybody know what you were up to yesterday?
The fact that you didn't sleep is insane. You're 24, right, Ramin? Oh my God, to be that age again. I don't even know what I would do.
Is, I think, on the 22nd or 23rd? 22nd, right? Hey, I was right.
When I worked at Bill, I think that this hindered me a lot. Okay. Is I would do 24-hour shifts. Right? Like, yeah, 24 hours. Like, until we got the networks back up, you were working consistently.
That's crazy.
24 plus.
Hold on, how did you end up staying up 24 hours?
It's so hard, but when you got a lot to do, it's extremely hard. Joey? And I think that took a toll on me. Now, if I'm not in bed by 10:30 or 11, my next day is absolutely ruined. And I did this throughout my 20s, right? Which was absolutely insane. Now, if I were to stay up all night, I would have to call Brando and be like, hey, brother, there's zero chance that I can come in and function properly.
Of course.
Yeah, so shout out to
I went out to
that would do
the
nothing for me.
TIFF,
Yeah.
for the TIFF party.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get home that late.
Like, did you get home at?
2:32, something like that. It wasn't even too bad. Yeah, but it's not like prohibitively bad.
Yeah.
I had to take the morning off, bro. I had to come in for the midday, and I was like not functional on the midday. And I had to do
yeah, bro.
But thankfully, Yadira carried that bad boy the majority of the time because I just had no ability.
Why
to
you
do
been
that
waiting
day.
for that there, Trevor?
What's going on?
He said he's
Joey?
been waiting for me to get old for some reason.
Why,
Why
bro?
would you
Why
want
do
that?
people
I want to
that?
stay youthful.
What's happening there?
I don't know.
There goes Xena, whoever, bro. Again, Joey, into the day's high, and we had the peak there, of course, at 69. The next level we're waiting is 75. We still have more shares. ZENA, it's been doing well, trending up, higher highs, higher lows. Not explosive like your other friend QNRX, but it's giving you that stable ascent, so to speak. I want to mention ONMD as well because it's coming back down into $4. Now, I don't want to say $4 was a breakout level. I don't perceive $4 to be a breakout level, but it is, of course, psychological support. I just feel maybe that 22 penny move above $4 is not sufficient enough to use $4 as support. I could be wrong because right now it is initially finding a nice move off 4 into 410, 11. It goes. So we're going to be keeping tabs on that for you guys. But there goes Xena again. Did I get the fill? I'm waiting at 75. It's showing me 75s. I shouldn't be waiting at the $0.75. So we'll go ahead and take it out right. Oh, you little mother. Okay, well, now we're going to go into 75 because you dropped on me. So now we're going to continue to wait here on ZENA at that 75 penny area. That is now the day high, keeping an eye on this one. I also want to mention QNRX, of course, because this one is halted down, having halted at 10.50.33. This one will likely be 10 minutes or more because it is 10.57, and this one halted at 10.50, so it'll, by definition, be longer than 5 minutes, so we'll keep tabs on that. And then we're also keeping an eye on Big Bear AI, right? It's coming back into that 10 EMA on the 5, right around 8.5.
Oh, wow, something's happening in the market. Something happening in the market right now. Big time. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. I didn't catch that fill. How come? Why?
Yeah, something very bad happened.
Yeah, something very not good whatsoever. I can't catch a, why won't it fill me? Come on, get me involved. Why? A little bit more. No way.
Everything's dropping really badly.
Oh my God, this is a big time move here, guys. And I tried, there we go. We caught that fill on NVDA. Let's go. As we're starting to take, I wanted it way up here. Couldn't catch that for if my life depended on it. Something big just jumped into the market as it started to tank. The Qs are gone. The SPY is gone.
I'm looking. I don't see anything.
We had NVDA drop right into the volume weighted average price and continuing to bleed. Something
I'm looking.
Extremely large must be going on. Yeah. I got to start covering a little bit this here. I'm going to flatten out because I did not want that fill. Oh, my days. And there it goes. Back into the volume weighted average price. That's a nice trade, but I wanted it way up here. Jeez. I was posted there. So there's something going on.
Apparently there's tariff news. Obi is saying, let's have a look. I don't see anything quite yet.
Wow.
Tariff increase.
Why did I?
Oh, so he's fighting back with them because they're inspecting American ships and stuff. So he's going to respond. I knew that was going to happen. He was not going to take that lightly. I don't have anything quite yet. Looking.
Wow.
Nope, nothing yet coming in on CNBC or any of the other news blotters. I'm looking at my news blotter right now. I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm not seeing anything, guys. So we'll pack our patience. If we see anything, we will let you know. This is. Yeah, thanks, Brendo. Got it. There it is. There it is. It's a truth post. I can't open it up. China becoming very hostile. That's it. That's what Trump said in a truth post. Trump saying China became very hostile. I do have Trump on there. Give me 1 second to load it up. Here it is. I'm going to read it out to you guys. Some very strange things are happening in China. They are becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose export controls on each and every element of production having to do with rare earths and virtually anything else they can think of. even if it's not manufactured in China. Nobody has ever seen anything like this, but essentially it would clog the markets and make life very difficult for virtually every country in the world, especially for China. We have been contacted by other countries who are extremely angry at this great trade hostility, which came out of nowhere. Our relationship with China over the past 6 months has been a very good one, thereby making this move on trade an even more surprising one. I have always felt that they've been lying in wait, and now, as usual, I have been proven right. There is no way that China should be allowed to hold the world captive, but that seems to have been their plan for quite some time, starting with the magnets and other elements that they have quietly amassed into somewhat of a monopoly position, a rather sinister and hostile move, to say the least. But the U.S. has monopoly positions also, much stronger and much far-reaching than China's. I have just chosen not to use them. There was never a reason for me to do so until now, capitalized. The letter they sent is many pages long and details with great specificity each and every element that they want to withhold from other nations. Things that were routine are no longer routine at all. I have not spoken to President Xi because there was no reason to do so. This was a real surprise, not only to me, but all the leaders of the free world. I was to meet President Xi in 2 weeks at APEC in South Korea, but now there seems to be no reason to do so.
My God.
The Chinese letters were especially inappropriate in that this was the day that after 3,000 years of bedlam and fighting, there is peace in the Middle East, okay? I wonder if that timing was coincidental, dependent on what China says about the hostile order that they have just put out. I will be forced as President of the United States to financially counter their move. For every element they have been able to monopolize, we have two. I never thought it would come to this, but perhaps, as with all things, the time has come. Ultimately, though potentially painful, it will be a very good thing in the end for the USA. One of the policies that we are calculating at the moment is a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products coming into the United States of America. There are many other countermeasures that are likewise under serious consideration. Thank you for your attention on this matter. There you go. So there we have it. That's the way it works. That's the way it works.
Oh, no.
Show's over. We're sending you to the midday.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo. How's it going, guys? How's everything going? How's your morning going, Dara? Oh, boy.
Sorry.
All right.
It's going okay. It's actually a little frustrating because look at this beautiful chart on Ferrari.